Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Jalan kemana akan mengarah, membangun jiwa yang haus cerita, keinginan mengetahui dunia, mengabaikan rasa cinta dalam jiwa. Semua berawal dari mimpi, hanya kita yang bisa mewujudkan. Sampai di mana batasnya pengorbanan, sedang pengabdian tak pernah terhenti. Aksara yang menari di atas awan, cukup jelas menuliskan harapan. Memang kenapa bila aku perempuan, aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan. Cinta bicara halusnya perasaan, hadir tanpa diundang dan dipaksakan. Memang kenapa bila aku perempuan, aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan. Berlagu memberi restu pada harapanmu. Pandanganmu jauh lurus membentang, meyakini habis kelak pasti terang. Aksara yang menari di atas awan,
cukup jelas menuliskan harapan.
Memang kenapa bila aku perempuan, aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan. Cinta bicara halusnya perasaan, hadir tanpa diundang dan dipaksakan. Memang kenapa bila aku perempuan, aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan. Janganlah kau jadi budak kebodohan. Cinta bicara halusnya perasaan, hadir tanpa diundang dan dipaksakan. Memang kenapa bila aku perempuan, aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan. Aku tak mau jadi budak kebodohan.
Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, Om Swastiastu, Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Ya, semangat pagi. Welcome to PLN Ignition Webinar Series Chapter 10. Yang professional platform for collaboration, speak up, and inspiration. Ya, PLNers dan Electrizen, kalau berbicara tentang perempuan nih, tinggal bersama dengan budaya yang patriarki, ini seringkali menempatkan perempuan pada posisi yang terkadang kurang menguntungkan.
Bener banget tuh.
Ya kan? Terkadang perempuan itu dianggap sebelah mata. Perempuan itu cocoknya di rumah, di dapur, nggak perlu berpendidikan tinggi. Padahal, fakta menunjukkan bahwa keterlibatan perempuan dalam dunia pendidikan, industri, atau bahkan pemerintahan ini mampu memberikan kontribusi secara nyata terhadap kemajuan suatu bangsa.
Iya, betul banget. Hal ini juga selaras dengan kebijakan pemerintah, di mana pemberdayaan perempuan itu sudah menjadi 1 dari 10 head of state, juga impact champion dari program He for She. Tak terkecuali juga Kementerian BUMN yang saat ini meningkatkan keterwakilan perempuan di jajaran direksi BUMN jadi di atas 15%. Untuk itu saya Meli dari PLN Pusat.
Dan saya Nanda Pitasari dari PT PJB, sekali lagi mengucapkan selamat datang kepada PLNers dan Electrizen, baik yang sudah tergabung di Zoom maupun di YouTube channel Ekadin. Nah, spesial hari ini dengan mengusung tema Startup PLN Women in Moves, pastinya Ignition kali ini berbeda dong dengan Ignition yang sebelum-sebelumnya. Dalam rangka menjelang peringatan Hari Ibu, spesial hari ini kita akan menghadirkan speakers perempuan yang sangat inspiratif, masih muda, dan pastinya berprestasi.
Iya, betul sekali, Nanda. Nggak cuma itu aja, untuk di special edition hari ini, kita juga kedatangan speaker-speaker eksternal yang pastinya sudah tidak asing lagi. Banyak juga ini idola-idola pada PLNers dan juga Electrizen yang ada di rumah, yang sudah siap berbagi experience, sharing juga tentang tips-tips sukses mereka, gimana sih jadi perempuan tapi masih bisa berproduktif dan juga masih bisa berprestasi.
Betul sekali. Dan juga nanti kita akan memberikan award kepada para best speaker dari Ignition Series 1 sampai 9 ya. Akan ada 3 award yang akan dibagikan. Dan juga kami ingatkan kepada PLNers dan Electrizen untuk tetap stay sampai akhir acara karena nanti
Betul
akan kita
banget.
bagikan door prize. Ada door prize.
Ada door prize.
nanti
Door
Meli.
prize-nya menarik banget. Ada 6 door prize ya, Nanda ya.
Betul sekali. Tapi sebelum itu kita sapa dulu yuk speaker-speakers yang sudah hadir pada siang hari ini.
Iya, untuk speakers yang dari eksternal nih ada idola kita semua, ada Mika Tambayong. Dia merupakan artis, juga penyanyi, entrepreneur, ini luar biasa sekali. Sudah hadir di sini ya, Mbak Mika Tambayong.
Hai.
Hai, cantik
Cantik
banget.
banget.
Aduh. Baik, untuk selanjutnya kita punya speaker siapa lagi, Nanda?
Selanjutnya ada Iim Fahimayahya. Beliau ini adalah ibu dan juga founder dari Queen Rights dan juga peraih Young Global Leaders of World Economic Forum. Halo, Mbak Iim, apa sudah bergabung bersama kita? Selamat siang. Baik, kita lanjut saja ke speaker selanjutnya, Meli.
Iya, speaker
Sambil
yang
menunggu
ketiga, ya sambil menunggu ada Nadira Nuraini Afifa. Mbak Nadira sudah ada di sini? Mungkin masih menunggu join juga. Kita lanjut aja, kita sapa speakers dari internal kita. Kita punya siapa aja, Nanda?
Iya, di sini ada Miss Tarita Anggraini MSc. Beliau ini dari, halo Mbak Tarita.
Halo Mbak Nanda. Mbak Mela.
Halo. Selamat siang Mbak. Terima kasih sudah mau memberikan inspirasinya hari ini.
Belum. Insya Allah ya.
Iya. Baik, selanjutnya ada siapa lagi, Meli?
Ada second speaker internalnya itu Mbak Penny Hastianti Marcella. Beliau ini dari UIW Bubble ya Mbak ya, dari UIW Bubble. Merupakan top 5 Kings, Capco International Graduate School Scholarship Candidates. Luar biasa Mbak Penny. Halo Mbak Penny, cantik sekali hari ini dengan lipstik merahnya. Next.
Yang selanjutnya adalah speaker kita yang selanjutnya itu adalah Mbak Dwi Rizky Septiari ST atau biasa kita panggil Mbak Tari ya. Beliau ini dari PLN Headquarter juga dan juga sebagai PLN Representative in BUMN Captain Millennials 2020-2021. Halo Mbak.
Ya, halo Mbak Nanda, Mbak Meli, makasih.
Iya, halo Cap. Mbak Tari ini bagus banget, suka bikin karikatur Mbak Nanda.
Oh,
sangat
keren, kreatif.
berbakat. Keren. Oke, kita juga ada panelis nih yang nggak kalah kecenya nih. Panelis yang pertama ini mau aku sapa dulu, Mbak Diah Karima selaku founder dari Ignition. Mbak Diah.
Halo Meli, halo
Sehat
Nanda.
hari ini, cerah banget Mbak Diah.
Iya dong, demi Woman Series-nya PLN Ignition. Thank you ya buat semua speakers dan host. Thank you.
Thank you Mbak Diah Karima. Selanjutnya juga ada panelis kita yaitu Mbak Desti Alkano PhD. Beliau ini adalah founder Energi Akademi Indonesia atau EKADIN dan juga merupakan co-founder Ignition. Halo Mbak Desti, selamat siang.
Halo, sehat-sehat selalu ya. Terima kasih.
Amin, amin.
Amin, harus sehat ya di tengah-tengah pandemi seperti ini. Tak lupa kami juga mau menyampaikan salam nih kepada kakak-kakak yang tergabung dalam komunitas milenial yang sudah menginisiasi kegiatan ini. Acara ini juga bisa terselenggara berkat support penuh dari Divisi Talent Development. Juga ini terlaksana karena didukung dari pegawai tugas belajar sebagai program penghargaan dari direksi dan memberikan kesempatan untuk melanjutkan sekolah pasca sarjana baik di Indonesia maupun di luar negeri.
Emang keren ya PLN ya. Dan juga ini terima kasih juga kepada Key Opinion Leader atau KOL yang merupakan komunitas milenial terbesar di seluruh PLN Group. Dan pastinya rekan-rekan EKADIN salah satu platform terbesar untuk learning di bidang energi. Terima kasih atas supportnya.
Oke, untuk membakar semangat sebelum kita mulai nih Mbak Nanda, aku mau menyampaikan yel-yel PLN terlebih dahulu. Mungkin bisa dibantu kalau nanti saya bilang semangat pagi, dijawabnya pagi. Iya, dan ketika disebut PLN, dijawab berakhlak, andal, terbaik. Boleh dicoba sama-sama, mungkin bisa di unmute dulu kali ya, di unmute mikrofonnya aja.
Bisa dijamin. Tapi kalau yang orang nggak ada gangguan.
Oke, boleh kita langsung coba aja ya. Semangat pagi.
Pagi.
PLN berakhlak,
terbaik.
Biasa.
Luar biasa. Thank you Meli sudah membakar semangat para peserta pada siang hari ini. Baik, sepertinya udah mulai nggak sabar, namun sebelum itu kita bacakan dulu ya rules untuk Inspiration Talk hari ini. Panitia mungkin bisa dibantu untuk menampilkan rules-nya. Baik, saya bacakan saja. Yang pertama, audio akan dinonaktifkan oleh panitia. Lalu yang kedua, jika ada pertanyaan, silakan disampaikan melalui chat yang ada di Zoom maupun di YouTube. Nanti pertanyaan akan dibacakan oleh moderator di akhir sesi. Dan juga dengan senang hati, panitia akan mengirimkan e-sertifikat kepada PLNers dan Electrizen yang sudah mengisi daftar hadir. Dan juga jangan lupa untuk mengisi feedback form. Dan juga nanti akan ada door prize bagi Anda yang mengisi feedback form.
Iya, jadi jangan lupa untuk PLNers dan juga Electrizen yang sudah bergabung sekali lagi untuk mengisi daftar hadir karena nanti e-sertifikatnya akan based on data itu dan juga jangan lupa isi feedbacknya karena supaya nanti dapat door prize. Door prize-nya yang menarik. Baik, untuk sebelum kita lanjut ke speakers, mari kita dengarkan terlebih dahulu yaitu report Ignition dari Ibu Diah Karima selaku founder dari Ignition dan juga manager of expert development PLN. Untuk itu kepada Ibu Diah Karima disilakan.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Meli dan Mbak Nanda. Izinkan saya untuk share screen terlebih dahulu ya. Oke. Sudah terlihat? Sebentar, oke. Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi rekan-rekan sekalian. Selalu selamat pagi karena kalau di PLN kita memang harus semangat pagi ya, seperti tadi yel-yel kita. Jadi walaupun ini menuju siang, menuju sore, tetapi kita tetap harus punya semangat pagi seperti yang selalu kita sampaikan di yel-yel kita setiap hari. Baiklah rekan-rekan sekalian, seluruh teman-teman sahabat-sahabat Ignition, baik itu dari PLNers, kemudian Electrizen, BUMN, dan juga seluruh Indonesia Jadi terima kasih atas supportnya kepada kami tim Ignition selama ini, di mana Ignition ini merupakan webinar series yang diprakarsai oleh millennials dari lingkungan PLN Group. Di sini kami bergabung tidak hanya dari talent development saja, tetapi ini merupakan sebuah kolaborasi terbesar yang dimiliki oleh PLN Group untuk menciptakan suatu platform sharing session yang tentunya saja bermanfaat, tidak hanya untuk internal tetapi juga internal, karena memang topik ketenaga listrikan saat ini merupakan topik paling hangat dan seksi ya, sampai ke tahun-tahun mendatang. Memang energi listrik itu merupakan energi vital yang dibutuhkan oleh seluruh people yang ada di Indonesia ini maupun juga yang di luar. Nah, pencapaian kita, alhamdulillah, ketika kita mulai di bulan Juli kemarin sampai akhirnya di bulan Desember ini, kita telah mencapai sampai ke chapter 10 dan antusiasme dari Ignition 1 sampai 10 ini sungguh sangat luar biasa. Beyond expectation, karena ternyata yang menonton tidak hanya teman-teman dari Indonesia saja, tetapi juga dari mancanegara, karena memang link kami juga bekerja sama dengan eksternal yaitu Ekadin, di mana Energi Akademi Indonesia ini juga mempunyai yang sungguh sangat luar biasa, sehingga kami dari internal PLN, yaitu dari komunitas pegawai tugas belajar PLN, dari key opinion leader, kemudian dari komunitas petir pencerah ketenaga listrikan, dan juga dari komunitas Innovation Lab yang merupakan didevelop oleh teman-teman FLD, PLN, Future Leader Program, saling berkolaborasi dengan eksternal yaitu Ekadin Energi Akademi Indonesia, sehingga networking-nya menjadi luas, tidak hanya internal. Dan ini kemudian banyak sekali juga teman-teman dari student Indonesia yang sekolah di luar negeri pun itu juga ikutan join untuk belajar mengenai ketenaga listrikan melalui Ignition. Bahkan surprise-nya juga ada beberapa universitas di Indonesia juga yang mewajibkan untuk beberapa kuliahnya diwajibkan untuk mengikuti Ignition ini untuk mendapatkan kredit kuliah. Jadi ini sungguh sangat luar biasa sekali. Kemudian sampai beyond expectation sekali, karena teman-teman dari utilities ketenaga listrikan di luar pun di Asian juga ikut menonton acara Ignition ini, karena kami memang tergabung di dalam HAPUA sebagai persatuan ketenaga listrikan utility yang ada di Asian ini. Jadi terima kasih atas pencapaiannya, dan untuk tahun 2021 ini kami juga akan melaunching Women Series, di mana Women Series ini merupakan salah satu komitmen kami untuk mendukung program BUMN Women Empowerment dan juga PLN Women Empowerment yang ada di lingkungan BUMN maupun juga yang ada di lingkungan PLN. Semoga dengan adanya Women Series ini nantinya dapat mengedukasi dan menginspirasi semua talenta-talenta perempuan yang ada di PLN Group untuk makin terus berkarya dan berprestasi dengan apapun challenge-nya, karena seperti lagunya tadi ya, bahwasanya perempuan itu insya Allah pasti bisa. Dengan kita saling support, insya Allah kita bisa menjadi yang terbaik. Dan semuanya ini sekali lagi tidak akan tercapai kalau tidak dengan kerja tim. Jadi izinkan saya untuk menutup report dari Ignition ini. Perkenankan saya untuk memutarkan video Meet the Team untuk Ignition Squad yang sudah menemani kami. Susah payah sampai tidur dini hari pun ya kami lakukan, tetapi kami happy sekali dalam melaksanakannya. Jadi please meet our squad, Ignition Squad. Jadi sekarang akhirnya kami memperlihatkan diri, karena selama ini dari Ignition 1 sampai ke 10 ini, kami belum pernah memunculkan keseluruhan tim. Jadi karena ini Ignition yang spesial, awarding Ignition, jadi kita ingin menutup tahun 2020 ini dengan sangat cantik. Kami menghadirkan seluruh dari tim Ignition yang kami punyai, baik para advisors kami, yaitu ada Bapak Daru Tricahyono dan juga Bapak Agung Siswanto. Terima kasih, tanpa juga bantuan dan juga support dari para leaders yang ada di divisi Talenta Development dan seluruh tidak hanya EVP tapi seluruh VP dan juga seluruh MSB juga yang telah ikut mendukung acara Ignition ini, tidak mungkin kami bisa sampai ke chapter 10 ini dan insya Allah akan terus berlanjut sampai 2021. Doakan kami, semoga kami akan terus konsisten dan sustain untuk bisa memberikan dampak dan manfaat untuk kemajuan PLN Group ke depannya. Dari kami, tim Ignition, semoga bermanfaat. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Luar biasa sekali ya, itu tadi dia tim di balik acara Ignition ini. Ya, kita doakan bersama semoga Ignition ini bisa terus berkembang, terus maju dan makin banyak memberikan inspirasi bagi kita semua.
Iya,
baik,
amin.
Oke, amin. Baik, langsung saja kita akan menuju ke speaker yang pertama, yaitu ada Miss Tarita Anggraini. Beliau ini adalah dari PLN Headquarter di Corporate Planning Division dan juga co-founder Ignition dan juga mendapatkan scholarship awardee dari University of Aberdeen. Dan Tarita ini adalah pegawai tugas belajar, seorang ibu beranak 4 yang home base-nya di Makassar nih, luar biasa.
Luar biasa.
Betul ya Mbak Tarita ya? Ya, mohon maaf.
Mbak Nada.
Oke, baik, langsung saja Mbak Tarita bisa kita mulai sharingnya.
Oh iya, izin share screen ya.
Siap.
Bagaimana, apa sudah kelihatan?
Sudah terlihat, Mbak.
Oh ya, oke. Oke. Baik, terima kasih kepada host Mbak Nanda, Mbak Mei yang sudah mempersilahkan. Sebelumnya saya juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Divisi Talent Management yang telah menginisiasi program ini, kepada Direktur Human Capital Management, Ibu Shofi F. Rukman, Bapak IPV Talent Development, Pak Daru, dan juga Founder Ignition, Ibu Diah Karima, yang telah membuat segala sesuatunya mungkin pada hari ini, ya insya Allah. Tapi mohon izin sebelumnya, karena edisi hari ini edisi spesial Women Series, speaker untuk pada edisi kali ini diminta untuk berbahasa Inggris, jadi mohon izin, mungkin sambil kita juga ya ini ya expose kepada international ya, karena sesuai visi kita untuk menjadi perusahaan terkemuka di Asia Tenggara dan menjadi nomor 1 dalam solusi energi. Jadi mohon izin saya bawakan dalam bahasa Inggris, rekan-rekan sekalian. Okay, good afternoon everyone. Thank you for this opportunity that has been given to me. Today, I would like to share my experience as a woman working in utility company. My name is Tarita Anggraini. Currently, I'm working in Corporate Planning Division, PLN Head Office as Analyst Corporate Planning. Okay, before go to the content of the presentation, here's my brief introduction. My name is Tarita Anggraini. My education background, my high school was in Smun 1 Tarogong Garut, and I had my bachelor degree from Environment Engineering, Bandung Institute of Technology. And I had, as has been mentioned before, I had a scholarship from PLN and had a Master of Science in Strategic Study and Energy Security from University of Aberdeen, UK. And as I mentioned earlier, my job title is Analyst Corporate Planning in PLN Head Office. The outline of the presentation today, mainly about my working experience. Have been working more than 15 years in this company, and then my experience study abroad, and a little bit about my dissertation and my current role and lesson learned and idea for enhancing women empowerment. Okay, just a brief explanation about my working experience. I think if I have to tell it one by one, it's going to take lots of time. So I try to draw it in a simple diagram like this. I first joined in PLN in 2005 as an on-the-job training. As a young PLN employee, there is a competition that I joined together with my friends in PLN Sector Telo. And the result, I had a third best individual PLN English Olympiad. And in 2006, I became the permanent employee in PLN, and my title was Assistant Engineer Environment and Safety in PLN Sector Telo. Now, yeah, it's a thermal power plant in the center of Makassar in South Sulawesi. And why I drew that baby icon, because at the same year I also had my first child at the time. And in 2007 I joined as a participant of ASEAN Bridge of Youth. It's an organization that become the place for young generation in ASEAN to collaborate. Not only me, but it's also followed by some other young generation in PLN. In 2008, I had my second child, again, it's a daughter, a girl. And in 2009, there is an annual innovation competition that organized by PLN Puslitbang. And at that time, I collaborate with my senior college in PLN Sector Telo. And the result, we won as the first team winner for technical supporting category. And then in 2010, I had my third child. And in 2011, there was a fit and proper test for women in PLN Susrabar, and at that times, I was appointed to be manager of PLN Rayon Makassar Utara. Currently, the name is changed. Currently named ULP Karebosi. And in 2012, I had another child. It's a boy. And then in 2014, I have another assignment to become SPV of electricity safety, still in PLN UIW Surabar. In 2016, a different assignment. At that time, I became supervisor career and training in PLN Surabar still. And in 2018, I became PLT, or acting as Deputy Manager Business Planning at PLN UIW Surabar. And in the same year, PLN headquarters conduct a selection process for PLN, especially young generation, to have a scholarship from PLN in pursuing master degree. And at that time, I joined the selection, and finally, I'm with my friend, got the result that with my other 3 friends, I got scholarship to continue my study to postgraduate in UK. That's in 2018, and 2019, thankfully, I can finish my master degree. And then in 2020, since February, I become analyst corporate planning in PLN head office. I think that is the recap of my working experience in PLN. Okay. Yeah, I think study abroad is become some remarkable experience for me because maybe it's a dream or maybe an aspiration of many young people. Yeah. So as to me, the same thing for me. Also, it's a kind of great gift. Yeah, from God, and yeah, that's one of my dream maybe a long time ago, and thank God that I could get it from PLN. So the place of the study is in Scotland. Scotland, as you see in the map, it's in the northern part of United Kingdom. It's closer to North Pole, so you can imagine when the winter comes, the temperature could reach to -3, -4 degrees of Celsius, and it's become the challenge for me to accomplish the study, and the flight it's quite long, around 15 hours from Indonesia, and there is no direct flight to Scotland, to Aberdeen, but we have to land first in London or in Amsterdam and then continue with another flight. This is, yeah, as you can see in the map, that's the location, Aberdeen, in the north part of United Kingdom. And here in the picture, me with my other 3 friends, first from PGB, second one from PLN Usman Pro, and the last from PLN, from Indonesia Power. My study program at the time was postgraduate in strategic study and energy security, and my other 3 friends different program. There are strategic management and the others in renewable energy. Okay, and a little bit about my dissertation. My dissertation is about global and domestic influence on PLN primary energy security. Why I took this topic, because it is related with the program that I had. It's about energy security, and the background is why energy, because energy is a national interest. Energy is like a blood for human body. No nation can live without energy. And the second one, energy is a global and domestic commodity. We produce oil, we produce coal, but we also import oil, import coal, import LNG. So that's why it's not only a domestic
Ms. Sarita,
commodity.
sorry
but
for
it's also
interruption, but we can't see your
Yes?
presentation.
Oh yeah.
It can move, move around. Yeah, maybe you can stop the share screen and then you continue again.
Can you see it now?
Nah.
Nah.
Yes.
So did you see the picture that I saw?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay, I will continue. Thank you for giving me the information. So energy is a global and domestic commodity, and Indonesia is a big country with the population around 270 million, with GDP growth around 5%, except for this year, due to the pandemic, the growth is contracted to -3%, but the trend is still going up. The trend is better. So the energy needs will continue become a great concern for this country. And PLN, as Indonesian electricity company, has a vital role. 60% of electricity output in this country produced by PLN, and it's operating all distributions and transmissions. So PLN need to be resilient in facing global and domestic challenge. Before further explanation, we need to understand the concept of energy security. Energy security actually consists of 3 dimensions. First is security of supply, second, affordability, and the last is sustainability. Security of supply means that we need to assure that we have availability and accessibility of the energy so we can run our generation. And affordability, it means that we have to have a reasonable price so it will not become a big burden for our operational expenses. And the last one is sustainability, is concern on human and environment aspect. So make sure that the operation or generation will not create a huge harm to the environment. Energy security from PLN point of view, we know that PLN business process consists of three big chunk, yeah, from generation, transmission, and distribution. But in this study, I will just only focus on the generating and the generation because primary energy like coal, oil, gas, it's related to the generation. Okay, I try to identify what kinds of global influence that can affect PLN primary energy security, and I found there are two dominant aspects of global level that can affect PLN energy security. First is global politics, and the second one is global economy. Global politics, such as geopolitical event, as we know that most of the producing oil country is located in the Middle East, so it's very vulnerable having disruption from conflict or war. So that geopolitical event can create a disruption in the supply of and the demand and the supply of the oil. So if there is a decrease in the supply based on economic theory, it will induce the increase of the price, and that will be a concern for PLN because we need to maintain our operational costs. So if the oil price is high and we still operating power plant like diesel power plant that use oil, so the oil price is still become our concern, and we have of course we tend to have a lower price instead of high price. And OPEC interplay, we know that OPEC is an organization of petroleum exporter country. They play a role to stabilize supply and demand and also the price, also interfering the international price of oil. And the last one, global climate consensus. As we know that the awareness of environment increase from time to time. As we know, there is a Paris Convention where Indonesia also participate and determined to reduce greenhouse gas by 29% in 2030. That's what that's the things about global politics. And the last one is global economy, because the growth of economy of a country such as China before pandemic, it has a robust economic growth that make it has a high demand of energy. So the high demand of energy, and then make the supply and demand of the primary energy is also interfered. So, and the last one is foreign exchange rate. Why? Because we know that we still import oil. We still we still depend on US dollar because many of the purchasing of the primary energy still related to US dollar. So having a stable exchange rate is quite important. If the dollar is too high, it's very hard for us to adapt with that, because the coal price still in US dollar, the oil price is still related to US dollar, LNG also. So foreign exchange rate, it's a factor that can affect PLN primary energy security. And beside global, I also identified the factors in domestic level that could interfere the PLN primary energy security. And I found there is three aspect of domestic which are policy, economy, and natural condition. We know that we have domestic market obligation policy, price determination, of course. It has a positive and also can be a threat to our primary energy security. And the other ones is domestic economy, as we know that if we have a trade deficit, transactions will lead to weakening rupiah against dollar. So as I explained before, that the weaker rupiah will be a concern or a problem, because it will become the burden for our operational expenses. And the last one is natural condition. We are a tropical country. We have some patterns of weather, and severe weather like heavy rain can be an obstacle for primary energy security. Why? Because the transportation, especially through sea, when we try to transport coal or oil to rural areas, the severe weather is is a factor that we need to put in concern, because it can make a delay in transportation. And geographical condition and also resource depletion. We deal with the issue of the depletion of natural gas, and it is something to put in concern too.
I'm sorry, Ms. Talenta, you have 3 minutes left.
3 minutes left? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, the domestic and global challenge that I have mentioned earlier create two sides with it is challenge and also opportunities. And the challenge from global is, as I mentioned before, it's about geopolitics, economic growth, financial market, and global consensus. And from domestic, the weather, the natural gas depletion, infrastructure development, and regulation. And the opportunity consists of the liberalization in oil and gas, increased source diversification, domestic policy, and price determination. I will make it faster, yeah. And we need to have a strategy, of course, to manage the challenge and also optimizing the opportunities, such as reduce the use of oil and then boost our domestic economy of the country. Why? Because if we boost the domestic economy of the country, it will increase the production of this country, and finally will make the rupiah stronger. And the third one, reduce CO2 emission, of course, and some other strategy, and optimizing opportunity, such increased source supply diversification, and maintain a good coordination with government to support affordability aspect. So the conclusion of the study is as simple as we can see in these pictures. So this is PLN primary energy security, which consists of 3 dimensions, and this is domestic level, which can affect PLN primary energy security in 4 sides, and this is the global level that can affect PLN primary energy security. And that's my dissertation, and now I jump to my current role. I'm currently an analyst corporate planning in PLN head office, and I have been here since February 2020, and what I learned in this in my assignment is about strategic management concept. I think it is a very important concept because many of us not really care about strategic planning, about long-term planning. We tend to just focus on the short-term or daily things that and neglecting the long-term things. The concept of management strategy is basically consists of this thing. First, vision, mission, or goal. A company should determine what its vision, mission, and goal. And then the second one, they have to formulate strategy, and then they have to execute it and monitor it. And the last one is evaluation. And I think why don't we apply this concept to our personal? Because I think when we apply this concept to our personal, as a woman, as a man, as an employee, I think it will give us a guidance not only this year, but also next year and the next year and the next year again to achieve our goal. So what I do so far, maybe all of you also do it every day, yeah? Like make daily plan, prioritization, we make to-do list. But it means that we just only focus on the daily things. We don't focus to the longer terms. So I suggest every one of us also have the long-term planning, like the company, like the corporate that also has a long-term planning. So by applying strategic management concept to increase personal effectiveness and fulfillment. So we try to adopt the strategic management concept to enhance our personal effectiveness. Yeah. So I don't know where to say. Okay. So the question, where do we begin? I mean, if we have to have a long-term goal, what should I do first? I suggest the first thing that we have to do is self-contemplation. It's like you are in the place that you can have a peaceful mind, a relaxed condition, and then try to ask yourself, like with the question like, who are you? You are a human, of course, living on this earth. Okay. And what are you created for? You answer it by yourself. What is your uniqueness, strength, passion, interest? I believe everyone has their own interest, has their own uniqueness. After you have got the answer, and then ask again with the question, what role do you want to have in this world? This is the world with the system, with the mechanism, and what role do you want to have in this world? You have to answer that. And once you have to find the answer, what you want to be in this world, and then try to make a vision. What's your vision? What's your aspiration? And then what's your mission? Like PLN, the vision is want to be the electricity champion in Southeast Asia and become the energy solution. And then you also have to have a vision for yourself. And the second one, you have to have a mission. Like a doctor, the mission is to help cure somebody's illness. And what's your mission? For example, you are a distribution engineer. What's your mission? Of course, to delivering an electricity to customer, like that. So after you have vision and mission, and then start with the question. So what's your goal? Goal it's a more shorter. Like what's your goal in the 5 years? And the last one, it's what's your value. Value is very important. Like company has value, PLN has akhlak. And what's your value? Value is some principle that embedded with yourself. So when you have the hard time, you always stick to it. Like I want to be always honest. Like I always want to help people. I always want to cooperate with other people. That's example of value. And then after you answer all those questions, and then you start to make your goal. Like in the next 5 years, what I want to become. Do I want to become an expert in human resources, as an example? Do I want to expert in protection? You decide by yourself. And after you decide that, and then you do benchmarking. Benchmarking means who the person that already success in that field. You can find it by Googling or asking whatever. And then you see the track of these people. What experience that they have accomplished in their life, what education, what learning that you should have to be like that people. And then after that, asking what is your current position? Have you got the education that you should have? Have you got the training that you should have? You try to identify your current position to be like the person that become your benchmark. And the last one is risk management. It means that you try to identify the things that might you fail to achieve your goal. You try to identify it and mitigate it, and the mitigation become your strategy. The next one is strategy. What is your strategy to achieve your goal? Like oh, I need to increase learning. I need to maintain my health. I need to get certification on this, on this, on this. Okay, you make the strategy, and next, this the concept of strategic map. Maybe people or employee or worker that deals with planning familiar with this. This is strategic map. Strategic map is a visual tool that can visualize your strategy, and it consists of 4 layers. The first layer is learning and growth. It is adopted from balanced scorecard. What kinds of learning do you need to increase your capability?
Sorry,
And
Miss
the
Tarita.
second one is internal process.
Sorry, Miss Tarita,
Like,
time is up.
Your time is up. We are really
okay,
sorry.
I am too enthusiastic. Okay, I will make it short and brief. Okay. And then after making the strategic map, and then you go to plan like what need to be executed this year or next year, and then you need to also plan the budgeting, and then after that you go to strategy executions, and of course every year, like every period of time, you try to monitor it and evaluate it. So I think this idea, if every person, every woman have a personal strategic planning, it will make they achieve the goal of most of people, because based on Maslow hierarchy of needs theory, the goal or the achievement of human in the peak is self-actualization. Self-actualization means the bold definition about who you are, or what your role in this world. That's self-actualization. So in my opinion, that if people can go to the way achieving its her or his self-actualization, people could be professional and effective in her or his life. He always know what to do this month, next year, and next year again, because they have direction, and they always do what to do, and avoiding things that not important in their life. And I believe that the strong individual will create a stronger institution, stronger community, because it is supported by people that pursuing his goal and at his or her best version. And stronger institution or stronger community that support by that people finally will create a stronger country and stronger civilization. Thank you. I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you very much. We are sorry because our time is limited. Okay, thank you very much. It's really cool and very inspiring. I mean, the way you set your idea to get your goal, I mean, it's very clear to us. And the question is blowing my mind. I mean, how you manage your time as a mom, as a wife, as a student, and also as an employee. But for that, we are going to discuss about it in a Q&A session. But now we are going to welcoming our second speaker.
Okay, we have Mrs. Dwi Rizky Septiari from PLN headquarters, CMO division. She's also PLN representative in BUMN Captain Millennial. So Cap, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Melly and Nanda, for the opportunity in here. I really honored in here, so I will share my 4 point. Right. Today, I want to share to you all about explore your ideas through creativity. So basically, as a woman in here, we can explore our ideas with the creativity. We can plan our productivity to be more creative. So before I start my PowerPoint, I want to introduce myself. The MC already mentioned my name, Dwi Rizky Septiari, but actually you can just call me Tari. And the fun part is this first speaker and me as the second speaker, we have a similar nickname, Miss Tarita and me Tari. So we have similar. I already joined in PLN since 2016. I'm an industrial engineering, and currently I'm an assistant analyst, transformation communicator. So if you guys all in here have a question or want to discuss something about PLN transformation, you can ask with me or discuss with me as a CMO division, Change Management Office of PLN. So In this session, I want to share 5 things. First, why ignition? So before we start the whole content of this session, I want to make sure that all of you in here already know about the ignition. And the second, the 3 important elements for PLN group collaboration. So there are 3 elements that we want to collate each other and make sure, hopefully, we can have an output as a synergy of a teamwork in PLN. And third, PLN transformation, as I already mentioned before, that I am transformation communicator. So in this session, I want to make sure that everybody in here, the employee or non-employee in here, already know about the PLN transformation. And fourth, start simple. So sometimes we have a question to ourselves, how to contribute to our company, how to be the part of the transformation of PLN. So we can start simple. I'll give you a trick to start contribute ourselves to become more productive creatively to transformation of our company. And the last one, I want to deliver corporate value, how to deliver our corporate value by our hobbies, by a simple doodle like Melly mentioned before. I have a hobby to doodling something. So I will give you an example how I deliver corporate value by my doodles. So let me start about the ignition first. So why ignition? Why all of you guys in here, we gather together virtually by Zoom? Why we gather in here? So basically the purpose of this event, we have 3 main words that we should know: empower, support, and care. Empower in here, we want to empower women in PLN. We want to empower all of you guys in here about the awareness to work in the electricity utility company. And the second, support. We want to make sure that we support women's roles and contributions in our company electricity sector in PLN. And third, care. We want to increase the actualization of gender equality in state-owned company and big corporation like PLN. We want to make sure that if we work in PLN, there's a gender equality. Everybody, if a women or a man, we have the same opportunity, we have the same chance to contribute ourselves to PLN. And the theme today, it's about Wonder Woman in Industrial 4.0 transformation of electrical utility company PT PLN Persero. That's the general issue about ignition. And next, I want to talk with you about the 3 important elements for PLN group collaboration. There are critical parts that we want to make sure that we already know what elements that we want to collect in here. First, the young generation, and the second, mentor, and hopefully by collaborate the young generation and the mentor, we have a synergy. The young generation in here, people or community in PLN who is driving force and leads to succeed the PLN group leadership. So hopefully all of you guys will become the next lead of our company. And the second is mentoring or coaching. Like with our supervisor, with our manager, there are people who are the mentors or coaches for us as a PLN young generation. We want to making the knowledge sharing is great. It runs well, efficiently and effectively, and we can know, we can get their experience, we can get how they can solve the problem in the past, so we can learn from their experience. And hopefully, with the collaboration of young and the mentor, we can have the synergy. It means the element of collaborative energy between the young generation and the senior generation aiming at moving forward together and complementing each other. So it can boost the productivity of PLN. We can make sure that PLN can achieve the goals and the new vision of PLN. So, by the way, did you already know that right now PLN already changed their vision? The newest vision of PLN is electricity champion of Southeast Asia and #1 customer choice for energy solutions. Maybe in the first session from Ms. Talenta, she already mentioned that we should aware, that we should know about the long-term plan of our company, the roadmap. we should understand about the planning of our company, the strategic planning. So how our company PLN to achieve the vision to become the electricity champion? We already have a 4 mission, but beside that, we have 4 aspirations too, to become green, lean, innovative, and customer focused. What is green? What is lean? Green means PLN want to become the leading industry in Indonesia energy transition through rapid and efficient scale up of renewables. It means PLN fully supported the renewable energy. We support the solar system, we support the wind generation. We want to moving forward to become more environmentally friendly. And second, we want to become lean. It means we want to become more reliable and least cost provider of electricity to the home or business or the industries. So we want to make sure that people who get the service from our company has a reliable electricity to their home, to their business and industry. And the second and the third, is innovative. PLN want to stimulate growth through innovative business model and service. PLN always continuously improve their business model. And today, actually, we just launching the new organization of PLN. That means we want to make sure we can do the iteration to become better and better every day. And the fourth, the customer focus. It means we want to delighting customer through world-class quality and services. We want to make sure that all of you guys, as our audience in here, you are our customer. PLN make sure can fulfill your needs by our electricity. We can delight our customer with the world-class quality of electricity company. And to support the 4 aspiration, green, lean, innovative, and customer focused, we have the aspiration enablers. Enablers in here, PLN want to make sure the organization and the people, the technology and advancement, financial sustainability, and the last, national development.
I'm sorry, Mr. You have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, it's okay. And how to achieve the 4 aspiration, we already have 20 breakthrough. We already have the long-term work plan and roadmap for make it realistic in the future. Next, this is the start simple. Simple things that all of us can do to get inspired to contribute ourselves can in touch to the transformation. This is my tips and tricks to you all. First, you can learn something new. Just get outside the boundaries of your knowledge. We can learn anything that we want to if we curious about the new things. And second, ask someone their greatest work experience. We can seeking the wisdom to others can be incredibly inspiring. You can ask your supervisor, you can discuss with them and share the experience that already happened to them before. And third, keep a notebook. You can just write it out, everything. You don't know, it might be as an inspiration at a later date. And fourth, research what others in your field are doing. We want to get the inspiration to make sure a quick Google search can be a great source of inspiration when we are low in ideas. And fifth, create a vision board. It means we can think about what you want in your life. You can just write it down and put it in your wall so you can see it every day. And last, try a new creative art. This is my favorite actually, because I like to put myself to creativity specialty. Like I like to drawing. Maybe I try a painting sometime, or trying the watercolor or the acrylic. That's the creative things I like to do. And next, to do the simple start, like I mentioned before, we should know our potential. It's like having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. So make sure you know your potential, and after that, you can start the simple step and contribute to PLN transformation. So if you already know your potential, if we can get the transformation of PLN, hopefully we can delivering the value of our company. This is my simple example of my doodle about risk management, because I like to learn about the risk management. Before I joined the transformation team, I'm the part of risk management team. This is my art when I want to deliver, when I want to raise the awareness of risk management, I using the simple doodle so people read it the simple and get the point of this picture by this illustration. So that's all for me. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for the opportunity to sharing in here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cap. Thank you for the information about PLN transformation, and also it's interesting because you can combine your work with your hobby and also creativity. It's very cool. But it's time for the third speaker, Nanda.
Yes, it's very cool, Miss Tari. I mean, I love your doodle. It's very cute. Yeah, I also want to remind for all of you guys who have question, don't forget to drop your question in our chat box, whether in Zoom or in YouTube. And now we are going to the last of internal speaker. This is Miss Penny Hestianti Marcella. She's from PLN UIW Bangka Belitung, and she's also as the top 5 of King KEPCO International Graduate School Scholarship Candidates. For Miss Penny, yours.
Thank you, Ananda and Bang Meli. So, hi everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Penny Hestianti Marcella. I'm from PLN Bangka Belitung. I'm very honored and very privileged to share this afternoon with all of you, with the all incredible women out there in here, with Sophie and everyone in here. I'm so very grateful that I have this kind of opportunity. So for today's sharing, I would like to discuss the issue about, let me share my presentation first. So for today, I would like to bring the issue about inspiring the next generations of female engineers. Let's be honest. What is the first time coming to your mind when we talk about engineer? Some of you might think about a man with a helmet or some kind of mechanical stuff, or man with masculine, something like that, right? No one will think about women's hijab or something like that. But it's true. Women in this kind of industry is only 14% based on data. Why? There's so many factors about it. Gender stereotypes, low rate of female engineering students, and engineering cultures are factors that contribute to the current situations where men are dominated in engineering fields. It's pretty sad, but yeah, being a minority in here is pretty challenging, but excited at the same time. So what I want to do is I want to break the stereotypes. What the stereotypes that I'm talking in here? It's based on my experience, and maybe some of you might experience the same things. Like most of the times, men, they're given the job, the problem-solving task where they could develop their analytical and technical skills, while women were often assigned jobs like sorting paper, copying, collecting equipment, making data, making notes, coordinating, something that they feel didn't value or cultivate their skills. And I think it's unfair because woman is as capable as a man, and it shouldn't be like that. And most of the time, they were not given the equal opportunities. So I think there's something wrong in here and need to be done. We need to do something about it. Being a minority, yet is challenging, but it's excited at the same time. Just because we're a minority in here doesn't mean women in engineering field couldn't be as successful as a man. Because as we know, like, you know, Virginia M. Romiti, right? She is an executive chairman of IBM and becoming the first woman to head the company. You know, IBM is a very huge technology company and have 350,000 employees around the world. It's a very like real achievements for a woman. And also Everyone know Google, right? Jennifer Fitzpatrick is an example of American engineer, one of the first female engineer at Google. So what's the point I want to say in here, that just because you are a minority in engineering field doesn't mean it's impossible for you to be a successful person, because I believe that woman is as capable as man. And I want to break the stereotype that thinking woman is less valued than man. It's a huge mistake that happens nowadays. So what is our goals in the future? As women, we need to empower each other. I would like improving women roles and contributions in creating a better world, a better future for our generations. I want to see more people, more women with visions, you know, achieving equal rights, conditions, and opportunity, and the power between man and woman to shape their own lives, and also have the same opportunity to develop their career at work and also in a social life. You know, talking about gender equality is a very huge issue, and it's not done yet until now. It's difficult to solve, but doesn't mean it's impossible. It's not just enough just to talk about it, you know, someone needs to believe in it. And it's not enough just to believe in it. Someone needs to working on it. Together, all women, we can break that stereotypes. We can fulfill our full potential. Don't hold back your value. Always do your best. And we can see that women can run the world. And I want to share in this lovely moments, I would like to share one of my favorite quotes about everyone wants to be successful, but not everyone wants to do the work. This quote is really amazing because as we know that if you ask people, everyone wants to be successful, but not everyone wants to do a hard work, want to accept the failure, want to do, like so many people, when they face the failure, they just give up. They don't want to continue. They don't want the difficult times in their life, but they forget that difficult times build characters, and characters determine your future. And you also have an integrity and hard work. You know, it's not enough just to be a talented person. Without hard work, you will be a loser someday. And most important things is you need to building trust and never give up. Trust yourself that you are valued, you are worth it, you can do whatever you can, and never give up. You know what? In life will never be perfect. You know, bad things happen, but what separates winner and loser is, while the loser, when they face the failure, the challenge, they just give up and run away. While the winner, they take the failure and they learn from that, and it pushes them to be a better person so they can achieve their goals. That's the important lessons that we need to implement in our daily life, not just in the work, but also in our daily life, to be a successful person as a mom, as a woman, as a career woman, or whatsoever you may be. And back to the beginning. So my journey, I started my career at PLN in 2013. I joined PLN in 2016. At the time, I remember that something happened in there, like there's a project in there. I remember that my boss in that team, there's a lot of in that team is men, and I'm the only girl in there. And I remember that all of my male coworkers, they go to the field and they do excitement job, and then they really contribute to something in the project. While me, I'm standing in front of the desk, collecting data, making reports, something like that, something that really,
Miss Penny,
you know,
sorry for interrupting.
I mean, I'm an engineer. I want to build something, and
Miss Penny,
yeah.
hello? I'm sorry for interrupt. You have 1 minute left.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So just fast forward. So because I'm an engineer, I want to prove that I'm not just, woman is not less valued than man. So what I do is I prove to them that I create something. I join Olympiad and I become the winner of PLN Olympiad in 2014 in individual category. And then I also become a national PLN ambassador as the winner of favorite category. And last but not, and the most important thing is, as an engineer, I joined a Desire project at the times. This is the turn point in my life. in this project, it is international collaboration project. In here, finally, I can implement all of my knowledge, my experience in helping people. And finally, I found that what makes me really happy is not proving that I'm better than anybody else, but what makes me really happy is when I can implement my knowledge to help people to bettering our world. And as an engineer, I believe that one day I could create a technology that can help all the people, not just in Indonesia, but also in the world.
Okay, Ms. Penny, I'm sorry, your time is up. We are really, really sorry because we have a very tight schedule.
Okay. Just let me one slide, only one slide, just 1 minute, please. This is really important. Okay. So in this event, what's the message that I want to deliver in here is, please, to every woman out there, never ever limit yourself just because you are a woman. The power you have is to be the best version of yourself you can be, so you can create a better world. Don't hold back. Then when the world doesn't offer you the opportunity, make your own opportunity and change the impossible to I am possible. It's me, Penny. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Penny. Very insightful. I mean, I love the way you encourage us. Don't underestimate your value, right? Don't limit yourself, because everyone can be success. Okay, thank you very much. Dan juga setelah ini kita akan langsung menuju ke segmen yang pasti ditunggu-tunggu oleh PLNers dan semua Electrizen yang sudah tergabung dalam Zoom dan juga YouTube. Kita akan menuju langsung ke external speaker kita. Oke, Meli bisa dibantu?
Oke, ini saat yang ditunggu-tunggu banget. Dari tadi kita nungguin motivational talks dari ini idola saya. Dia wanita yang sangat cantik, pintar, bertalenta. Langsung saja kepada Mika Tambayong. Nah, silakan.
Terima kasih Mbak Meli dan Mbak Nanda. Sebelumnya thank you untuk PLN, untuk Ignition team and the whole team involved in this webinar for inviting me. It's an honor. I love going to webinars because not only that I can share, but I can also learn from all the speakers. And the previous speakers, I love listening to you all, your journey. It's inspiring. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not really going to be sharing like a formal presentation. It's just a few things I picked up along the way in my journey. Okay, so I will be talking about women empowerment, especially about the 3 Bs that you're all probably very familiar with: brain, beauty, and behavior, through higher education and business leadership. Right, next. Okay, so what is women empowerment? It's a phenomenon that people have been talking about all around the world. It's been a rising issue throughout these past few years that I'm aware of. So according to Wikipedia, I took this from Wikipedia, women empowerment is accepting and allowing women who are on the outside of the decision-making process into it. And it is the process that creates power in individuals over their own lives, society, and in their communities. So I actually came up with my own, not definition, but something that that comes into my mind when I think about women empowerment. It's rather a state of mind that drives the confidence and elegance of a delicate being to becoming her own strength, to then be manifested into her thoughts and actions, which would eventually inspire her surroundings and resulted in turning herself into a useful being for many. So I don't really see women empowerment as an action. I think it's first of all, it's a state of mind. Like, people should have this state of mind about women. Rather than doing something about it, we should have this as a state of mind first and foremost. Okay, next. All right, brain, beauty, and behavior. It has always been some sort of mantra for me throughout my entire life. Basically, I believe in balance. I believe this life should be all about balancing one and another. inner and outer factors in our lives. It all has to start with your brain. That's what I feel is the most important part of yourself, I think. But most of all, it should all be about aiming to be physically, mentally, and spiritually healthy. So this is actually like what I'm actively not promoting, but I'm really rooting for health and education. And I have been speaking in a lot of forums, and I've been sharing a lot in my social media about health and education. So I think it's really important that you're healthy in all aspects of your body, your physics, your mental, and your spiritual. And it translates into beauty, I think, because when you're especially for women, because we're in a woman-based webinar, I think it's really important to balance your inner and outer factors in your life. So I think health is very crucial for you to begin everything. Basically, when you're healthy, you can be productive, you can be active. So you should really pay attention to that. And then it goes on to figuring out your passion. Of course, I think passion can be it's flexible. I think it can change along the way. It can stay the same for a long time, but passion should always be evolving, whether it's changing or it's not. But I think along the way you should find your passion, and knowing your strength and weaknesses and making room for your improvement. Of course, that's the end game, I think, which portrays in your behavior. Next. Okay, so I was asked to be talking about why is higher education important. So I didn't put my CV in this presentation, but I am all for education. I graduated my bachelor's degree in law school in 2017, I think. And then right now I'm currently doing my master's in international management from my alumni UPH, and I'm also taking course in Harvard Business School. It has been a torturous journey, to be honest, because of this pandemic. I wasn't able to fly to the US to take my classes, so I have to take them all online. But it has been quite a fun journey. So as you can see, I am I am a believer in high education. Why? Because I think it's food for thought. So just a little something to share. I learned to speak English through reading books, actually, and I had a lot of life-changing moments through reading books. I wanted to become a lawyer because I read Hillary Clinton's biography. It inspires me a lot. So I've always been sharing this in everywhere I go. Basically, please read more books, because I think books are it really is the window to a world that you might have never seen before, and you can get so much from it. Also, talking about education, other than it's a food for thought, it also broadens your horizon. It broadens your knowledge. You have so much knowledges that are maybe you haven't been aware of before. And it's also a boost for your confidence. I think that having a high education, or just as much as education that you can get, it will boost your confidence. You can talk to anybody from any field about anything, basically, if you're very knowledgeable. And also, it's a self-equipment. It can be your equipment for everything that you're doing, for your work, for your school, or your whatever it is. If you have enough knowledge, it can be your own self-equipment. So I'm not just talking about formal education, which I think is very important, but just any kind of education that you can get from these kinds of things, like webinars, events, or like everything that you can get that is educating yourself basically. But I do think that formal education is important. That's why I'm all for it. Next. Okay, so I will also be talking about entrepreneurship a little bit because I had just recently studied international management and business. I also did a few businesses, started like 2 years ago, I think. So I have been entering the entrepreneurship world, and I have been going through a few courses and a few webinars where people have been saying that women should be business leaders these days. Because why? Because women should be economy drivers. Like most startups in Indonesia, I just heard actually this morning that a lot of the startup leaders were women, and that is very interesting for me. It's also for your personal branding, because I think it's good if you have something that you start your own. I was listening to one of the speakers before, and she was saying that if there's no opportunity, you should make it yourself. And I think it's amazing. It's very encouraging, because I don't think opportunities come to everyone equally. So if you don't have one, you should make it. You should make them by yourself. And also social media platform. It's the most accessible, the easiest way you can brand yourself as a business leader. Like, you don't really have to have a business brand. Like, you don't have to have a store or anything, some sort of like that, but you can make yourself a business, I think, through your personal branding. And how do you brand it? By social media platform. It's very easy, because I was just speaking this morning in a seminar. We were talking about technology, and technology, in my personal opinion, can either make you or break you. So make the best use of it. Just brand yourself in a positive way. People would call it pencitraan, but I don't think it's pencitraan. It's your personal branding. You should sell yourself to the internet in a very positive way and motivational way. And that's why I personally decided to create a startup. And I think startup should not only mean in the business sense, but it can also mean starting up branding yourself. It's important. Next. All right, so these are a few businesses that I'm currently running and I'm currently a part of. Why, if you notice, are all the named sisters? Because I want it to be all women-based, actually. I want to involve as many women as possible. Next. Okay, so my biggest company right now is I have my own enterprise. It's called Sisters Enterprise. We're actually a creative talent management. It's a digital agency, something like that. It manages me actually, but I'm also part of the whole company, and we're planning to do some things with our company next year, involving the creative digital world. And actually, it goes way back in 2019 when I had my own nail studio. It's a business I started with my two female cousins. That's why we called it Sisters Nail Studio, and it has become a branding ever since. We expanded it into 2020 February. It's called Sisters Beauty Studio, and it's still running until now. Next. And I also started my own legal and business consultancy, actually, with my other female friend. It's a women-based legal and business consultant, where we started in March 8, 2020. We will be launching our social division as well I think we would be doing it in early January, but this legal consultancy, I want it to be all women-based. We hire all women in our board, and we want it to be as useful as possible to a lot of people that need our service, as well as making it a social division as well, which focuses on women and children's health and education. All right, next. Okay, so how do I see support for women entrepreneurs? I think it's very crucial to first create women influencing ecosystem. It's why is it crucial and important? Because I think women should feel supported, and we should be in a community where there's no gender biases, where we can all make something, we can all do something for the society and make impact for sure. And how do we do that? I think training is the most important thing for sure. Mentorship, my legal consultancy will be conducting mentorship in the nearest future, and online classes, I've been taking them, so I know the pain, but I think it's very efficient. It's accessible by a lot of people. Some are free even, so it's very helpful for us. And virtual events and gathering like this. That's why I always make time for seminars like this, because I think it's very crucial for us to have a platform to share, to learn from people who might have experienced some things that we are going to experience in the future. And yeah, I think these are a few things that could be helpful in creating women influencing ecosystem. Next. Okay, so here comes my last slide. So what I picked out along with my journey, becoming an entertainment business worker. I've been in this business for more than 10 years, so I know how it shifted. And now I have entered my entrepreneurship world, which is a whole new level, a whole new other world for me. But what I have been picking along the way is the fact that women can actually do anything that we wanted to do with everything that we're passionate about. Some people can doodle very well. I can't doodle, but I mean, like, it's amazing to see the talents that women have nowadays. We just need to support each other. We just need to create a platform that could be a part of our ecosystem, and eventually making women as business leaders and economy drivers. So what I think is important is for us to be mindful of what goes in and out of our body, mind, and soul. That's why I think it's important to be healthy physically, spiritually, and mentally, because it all creates a sense of positive aura that you can always project to people, and you can always make as your personal branding, because that you yourself is where everything starts. And then the next step is to take charge and be committed. After you find out about yourself, after you figure out what you want to do, after you figure out what your passion is. And by the way, I do think that it's fine if you haven't figured out what you want to do in the next 5 years or 10 years, because I think it would really come along together unless you're not working for it. But if you're committed to it, if you're committed to finding out your passion and what you're excited about, it should come along the way. So things take time. Don't compete with any other people. The person you need to be competing with is yourself, I think, which is why you have to take charge and then be committed, because I think commitment goes a long way for sure. And yeah, just go for it, because right now you basically have all the resources you need. You have the technology, you have everything accessible for you. I should thank PLN and Ignition team for making something like this, because I appreciate big companies making spending the time to actually create this platform for us women, especially, to support each other. And I have learned so much. So thank you once again for inviting me. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mika. Very inspiring. Terima kasih sudah menginspirasi kita semua yang ada di hari ini.
Luar biasa. Kalau tadi aku highlight Nanda tentang
Hmm.
brand image sebenarnya. Bener banget kalau orang bilangnya pencitraan ya gitu atau enggak, "Ih, kamu jadi perempuan jaim-jaim banget sih." It's okay gitu. Itu
Right.
soalnya memang iya, brand image kita harus dijaga.
Betul,
Apalagi
value yourself kan ya, harus dengan hal yang
betul
positif
banget.
juga gitu.
Oke, thank you Mika.
Thank you.
Next kita punya siapa Nanda?
Oke, selanjutnya ini adalah seorang ibu, dia juga entrepreneur, dia adalah founder dari Queen Rise dan juga she also achieve Young Global Leaders of World Economic Forum. Please welcome Mbak Iim Fahima Yahya. Halo.
Sepertinya koneksinya tadi ya terlepas.
Oke, baik. Bagaimana panitia? Apa kita lanjut ke next speaker atau kita menunggu?
Ini sepertinya Mbak Iimnya udah
Halo.
masuk. Iya.
Halo. Halo Mbak Iim.
Hai Pak. Yes.
Halo, sudah bisa tergabung. Wah, cantik sekali dengan lipstik merahnya. Kita udah nggak sabar untuk mendengarkan inspirasi.
Sorry ya, sorry banget. Sebelumnya aku nggak bisa menggunakan background-nya ini, nggak tahu kenapa nggak bisa dari tadi aku cobain.
It's okay. It's okay Mbak Iim. Silakan.
Oke, thank you semuanya teman-teman. So basically today I will share to you guys about what I'm doing and how hopefully what I will share here is going to inspire all of you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Iim Fahima. I'm a socialpreneur and young global leader of World Economic Forum, and I'm now the founder of Queen Rights. So aku langsung share aja ya. I probably will use a bit of mixed language karena di sini semua mostly bahasa Indonesia kan, or
audiensnya pakai bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia juga, tapi nggak apa-apa. Biar semuanya bisa menikmati paparan dari Mbak Iim. Udah kelihatan Mbak presentasinya, silakan.
Kelihatan ya. Oke. Balik. Suaraku udah balik. Can you hear me?
Merdu Mbak, sudah terdengar sangat merdu suaranya.
Oke. So, as a founder of Queen Rights, thank you. Spoke to at the PLN event. I don't even remember, because I spent like the past 3 years only for global event, and probably this time is not the first, but I spent some of the time to some local event, and PLN is one of those. So Queen Rights is an online and offline women empowerment platform that focusing on 5 pillars: women road safety, economic empowerment, digital literacy, family life education, and also women leadership. We have the online and offline channel. So basically, we started with a road safety issue. Road safety is one of the super masculine topic, and as you probably also aware, all of you guys here, that number of road accident involving women is pretty high. It's like almost 50% right now. But there is no institution that focusing on educating women road safety. So Queen Rights is decided to come up with a solution, which the method is safety, style, and beauty. So instead of using the typical masculine approach, we use safety, style, beauty. We have all the online and offline channel. Even we call our offline channel as Ngopi Cantik with Queen Rights or Coffee Chat with Queen Rights. The content is so much, it's so super feminine, with it involving safety, fashion, stay beautiful on the road, yoga on the road. But at the same time, we also inject a lot of knowledge about road safety, which we get a lot of support from the police road police, and then also from a Ministry of Transportation. To create an awareness about road safety and women issue, we use a high fashion approach to create a word of mouth. Because as probably PLN also used a similar approach, which using a lot of media to do the campaign. But what we do with Queen Rights is, instead of using a lot of money and spending it on media, we're decided to use a creative approach to create a word of mouth. The use a high fashion option to speak about the data about road safety, about the increase of road accident in Indonesia is around 80%. 3 people die every hour in Indonesia from road accident. So we collaborate with Asia top models and also international fashion photographer to create a high fashion campaign. So this is one of also one of our campaigns. So it's a well-crafted campaign to attract people's attention. So from those campaigns that from those visuals, we spread all the campaign through social media, and then we follow with using regular people. If the previous one you see, we were using Asia top models that for the follow-up campaign, we use the millennial friendly. For the follow-up campaign, we use our own community or the real people to do the campaign, and we also spread all those campaign on giant screen in malls. Hello. Yeah.
Oke, bisa dilanjutkan,
Yeah.
Mbak.
Okay. So the result is we able to create a trending topic, and also we create a free publicity in 100 medias, local and global. And the impact. When we're talking about social movement, we're always talking about the impact. What's the impact of this whole activities? So right now we have around 400,000 community member in Indonesia. Not only in Indonesia, but also in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, and also Belanda. Yeah, I think some of them also in also.
Iya, ini sepertinya jaringannya sedikit bermasalah ya Mbak Iim ya.
Balik lagi.
Suaranya agak terputus, Mbak. Oke.
Halo.
Oke, sudah muncul PowerPoint-nya.
Sudah. Halo.
Ya, sudah bisa dilanjutkan, Mbak?
Oke. So because of the campaign and the movement, and also our ability to gather more than 400,000 women all over Indonesia and several countries, and then this movement acknowledged by the government. Halo?
Halo, iya bisa dilanjutkan, Mbak?
Halo? Ya.
Halo.
Okay. And one and because of this movement also, I was invited by Pak Jokowi to
Oke, ini sepertinya Mbak I masih mencoba untuk bergabung kembali.
Iya, terkait koneksi.
Ya, ini emang seninya kalau kita ini ya, virtual webinar seperti
Benar
ini.
banget. Tapi ini sepertinya Mbak I sudah bergabung kembali, Mbak Nanda.
Oke.
Halo, Mbak I. Oke.
Okay, in 7 months we have been educating and when people think about social movement, mostly they think about doesn't create any profit at all. But the thing with Queen Rights, if we've been monetizing the platform since even before we launch it, we even create break-even point on the year 1. So imagine we spend billions of rupiah to do the campaign, but all break-even point in year 1. We have a lot of supporters from brands. And we also get a lot of support from government and NGOs, from Ministry of Transportation, Ministry of Women Empowerment, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Information Technology, Indonesia Traffic Police. We also engage with Johns Hopkins University, USA, Ikatan Motor Indonesia, and also FIA, or Federation International of Automobile. So we engage a lot, not only with local institution, but also a global institution. And all the twists from this story is I manage Queen Rights virtually, so everyone work from home. All my team work from home, and for your information, I might say that probably like around 95% of my team all are women. So I manage Queen Rights virtually, so I can have a lot of time with my family. I have 2 kids, yeah. I have 2 kids, and both of them are homeschoolers long before the pandemic. So I'm not shocked with this pandemic situation when all the students have to learn from home, because I've been doing it for like 2 years. I manage Queen Rights virtually, so I can travel around, speak at international events, meet global leaders, and I even continue to study in Harvard and also in US, Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, and I learned directly from the global leaders. Itu kalau if you see the picture above, Goh Chok Tong, yeah, the Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, and the picture below is the head of the president of Harvard University. my dad like passed away 2 years ago, so I have no regret because I've been taking care of them, So the next for the plan for queen rights, I'm not talking like 3 years or 5 years, rather I'm talking about the next 20 years. Yeah. So my dream is queen rights is going to have schools, hospitals, and any public facilities that can be used by can accessible for rural people. Yeah. So it's not only for the I always is inspired by my grandfather. My grandfather was a founder of Yayasan Sultan Agung in middle di Jawa Tengah, ya, in Semarang. Yayasan Sultan Agung own like hospitals, schools from TK and yeah, preschools until university. So I aspired to be like him. So later on, Queen Raj can own school and hospital and can serve a lot of people and create impact to the nation. So this is what I believe, that every business can be a platform for change. I've seen this picture, this shop when I was in Davos. We are here in this world is to be able to create some changes, no matter how big, no matter how small. Selama kita bisa bermanfaat untuk orang lain, I think we already achieve the goal. Saya pikir sampai di situ dulu. Lesson, I think this is the lesson during pandemic. Focus on your mission. Jangan berhenti, jangan terbatasi oleh situasi yang buruk, ya. Cari celah. Always try to find a way to continue with whatever your mission, gitu. So do not stop because of the barriers. So I think that's all. The sharing from me. Again, sorry banget for being disconnected all the times. Hopefully you get all my message here. Thank you so much, PLN, for having me. That's all.
Oke, thank you so much, Mbak Iin. Gak apa-apa, nanti kita bisa lanjutin diskusinya di mini talk show ya, Mbak Nanda, ya?
Betul sekali. Kita lanjut nih, udah ada yang bersiap cantik sekali.
Baik, selanjutnya ini adalah external speaker kita yang terakhir dan juga pasti ini jadi idolanya anak muda sekarang nih, karena prestasinya memang luar biasa. Beliau ini mendapatkan LPDP Scholarship Awardee dan juga mendapatkan Commencement Student Speaker in Virtual Graduation Ceremony di Harvard 2020. Wow. Halo Mbak Nadira Nuraini Afifah.
Halo Mbak Nanda, halo Mbak Meli.
Halo Mbak, cantik sekali hari ini. Dengan
Mbak.
Wow. Boleh langsung saja Mbak Nadira, kita udah nggak sabar mau dengar sharingnya.
Oke, aku share screen ya. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon for all the speakers and also the panelists and of course the audience. First of all, thank you so much for PLN Ignition for having me here, for the opportunity for me to share my experience. So I've been listening to all the speakers and it was very inspiring and it was a very fruitful sharing discussions. I learned a lot and it was a very good initiative from PLN Ignition to have this kind of webinar. And I was asked to actually just share my experience, like a glimpse of my journey, and it would be mostly about my most experience, which was master's degree at Harvard. So this would be a very informal sharing discussion and technical enough. So hi again, I'm Adira. For those who don't know me, I'm now a medical doctor and also a public health consultant. So this is a glimpse of my education journey. I started my higher education of Medicine, Universitas Indonesia in 2011. So basically, it was a journey. It was a long years to till I finally be able to got medical doctor degree in 2017. And after graduating from Universitas Indonesia, I started my first practical experience in Lombok, West Nusa Tenggara. So I practiced at the small hospital there, and that was my time to finally be able to meet my own patients, to treat my own patients, and it was very rewarding because finally I can meet so many cases, so many diseases, treating on patients from sick to healthy again, and so on. And I was trapped in my comfort zone. So at first, it was very smooth sailing, I think. But after that, I was tuberculosis patient. You know, tuberculosis kind of the lung infections. So I just realized that actually not all the diseases can be treated only by the interactions between the doctors and the patients, because I've made sure that he's taken all of the medications that I had, made sure that I have given the best education that I can, and I had made sure that all of the algorithms for the treatment is right. But the disease, the tuberculosis just cannot be treated for 3 months, and I don't know why. I didn't know why back then. So then I decided to deep dive into this case. I deep dive into this patient's life. So I visited his home, and at that time I just realized that actually there are so many problems lying underneath. So sometimes patients cannot be treated, not just because the disease itself, but because of all of other problems that he had. At that time, he was in poverty, he had the problems with the insurance, he cannot access the BPJS, and also he had this stigmatization from the neighborhood, he lost his job, and so many things going behind. So I just realized that actually not all the cases cannot that not all the cases can be treated by just the interactions between me as a doctor and the patient, but I also has to learn about the public health. I also have to learn about all of the diseases, uh, all of the problems that actually accompany the disease, which is more of the social problems, and it can be learned through public health. So that was the first time I finally found that interest to pursue higher education in Master of Public Health, especially in health policy, because I see how actually if the government can make a very wise policy, a very wise health policy, it can improve so many people, a million lives at one time. So it was a very remarkable thing. I think that I want to pursue. I want to pursue a public health and health policy. So I don't want to be just a doctor, but I also want to be a public health consultant. So at that time, I decided to pursue LPDP, which is, for those who don't know, it is a scholarship from Ministry of Finance. So basically, if you want to pursue higher education like master degree or PhD, you can try to pursue LPDP because they cover it all. And after that, long story short, 1 year later, I applied to Harvard in Master of Public Health because I really like the program, and I think it can enhance my career as well. So I got accepted, luckily, and the program is only 1 year. So in May 2020, I was graduated from Harvard, and after graduated, I'm back to Indonesia for good and practicing as medical doctor and public health consultant now. So I think what I want to say in this slide, in this very short slides, I think it's about pushing yourself beyond the comfort zone is actually very challenging, very difficult and uneasy at first, but it was a very great experience, and it's actually a golden opportunity for you to finally improve yourself way beyond what you can think of. So applying to Harvard itself is pushing myself beyond my comfort zone, I think, because I always try to find more experience. I always try to gain higher achievements in order to make myself eligible enough to get accepted to Harvard. So the process of applying itself is already a life-changing experience for me in terms of improving myself in a lot of aspects in life. And when I finally got into Harvard and stepped my foot in United States, I think another pushing myself beyond the comfort zone, because adaptation to this new environment is very difficult. At that time, I actually was just married, and for some reasons, my husband couldn't join me because he already had the career in Indonesia, and it was very difficult to leave his career at that time. So it was very challenging, and I'm a woman, and so many people say that women are limited to do something, like they should like stayed at home and serve the husband, and it's unnecessary to pursue higher and higher education. And what makes it more challenging is also, I heard a lot of the Islamophobia issues and racism issues in the United States at that time. And people are actually very confidential about their religion. They don't like to talk about what they believe in, what their races are, and like where they come from and everything like that. But by just wearing a hijab, I think I already like told everyone what my religion is, which is I'm a Muslim. I believe in Islam. I'm very proud of that, but at the same time, it also made me anxious because I didn't know how people will perceive that and how people will respond to me. So I also told this a lot that during my orientation time in Harvard, actually, I spent a lot of my time having my lunch in the bathroom because I was very anxious to start the conversation during the coffee break and everything. And so it was a very difficult time for the adaptation. And finally, I think the time just healed. So when you finally can push yourself and finally can force yourself to adapt to the new environment because you know it's good for you, you finally can be comfortable again. You finally can find your comfort zone again. So these are the photos when I finally can find Harvard as my new comfort zone. And these are the pictures when I even finally can perform angklung to all of my colleagues there, and brought some nastar and putri salju and everything, and they really liked it. And it was a very good experience, and I forced myself again, and I finally got the opportunity to present my research project in front of some of the ministers from African countries that is visiting Harvard during that time. And this was when I finally pushed myself more. So I kept pushing and pushing, and I finally got selected in the this is the project in Tanzania. So I was selected to be one of the Harvard delegate to go there for a month. So it was very challenging at first because I have to deal with all of the lacking of water situation, lacking of food, and but it was also very rewarding because it was always my dream to involve more in malnutrition cases. This was a time when I finally can contribute to malnutrition issues in a country where malnutrition problems is the worst in the world. So this was the life-changing experience again, pushing myself beyond the comfort zone again. And this was almost the end of my education when I got the opportunity to present my project in Tanzania to all of the faculties and also my colleagues. So what I want to say is that pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone might be very difficult at first, but believe me, once you try to push yourself, you even want to push more, because I have experienced that. Like it was very difficult at first, and then when I finally can find Harvard as my comfort zone again, I started to feel the urge to again pushing myself. I think it's not very healthy to always stay on your comfort zone because then you become stagnant. You don't know what you're lacking of. You don't know, maybe the people around you are comfortable enough with you and they don't know what your flaws are, or maybe they don't comfortable to tell yourself that you should improve this, you should improve this and everything. So it was very, I would say it was very, like staying in your comfort zone is good, but pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone is actually better. So when I started to feel the urge to finally go beyond again, I maybe at first my wildest dream is just to get into Harvard, to be one of the Harvard students. But when I was finally there, I think that I wanted to be more. like LPDP has funded me so much, and I just want to pay back to my country. And I don't want to just graduate from Harvard, but I want to be the one that stands out. I want to be the one that representing my batch in the graduation, and I know that it's not impossible to achieve that. So when I heard about this student speaker contest in Harvard, it was actually a very interesting method of selecting the commencement student speaker. So Harvard has this student speaker contest where basically all of the graduates in 2020 can apply to that. And the judgment process is not based on how high your GPA is or how many achievements that you had, but it's based on like how you tell your stories, how inspiring your stories are, and how are you going to deliver that message that can be inspiring for all of the graduates at that time. So when I heard about the student speaker contest, I didn't think twice. I applied right away. I started to tell my stories. I tried to be very honest with everything. Like basically, I told them about how I was really struggling in adapting to Harvard. Like the stories that I told you before, I'm locking myself in the bathroom because I was very anxious to start a conversation during the coffee break. And I also told them that when I finally when I finally found a musola inside Harvard, it really changed all of my perspectives about the United States. I really think that actually Harvard, United States, or at least Harvard itself, is very appreciative about all religions. They're really open to any diversity and including Muslims itself. So it really makes me confident at the time when I found out that they have the musola. And I also told them that that my family actually came from the unprivileged family. My mother is just the daughter from a farmer, and she really changed her destiny by having a good education. And she was really proud of me because she can raise me from a small town in the village to like from the small village to graduate from the top public health school in the world. And I also said about how I was very proud about being the public health expert because I think previously public health is really neglected, underappreciated, but during this pandemic, that was actually blessing in disguise because we can finally realize that the role of public health expert is very important during these days. So I'm very proud to be the public health graduate. So that's basically a glimpse of my speech for the commencement speech. And apparently, luckily, it has moved the judges. I continued to another steps of the selection and then finally got selected to represent my batch during that time. And I was very proud of that. I think it was a very remarkable achievement because I finally can talk a lot about Indonesia, can talk a lot about West Sumatra, where I came from, and also to simply just have my picture in the website is like the thing that I never thought of before. So I think pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, it was very difficult at first, but uh, believe me, it would become the best part of your life. At least that happened to me. Although actually the expectation is to have the speech delivered in the podium, watched by all of the faculties and the parents and all of the graduates like this. But the reality is just me delivering the speech inside my small apartment using my laptop and my very simple devices. But it was still very rewarding, and I hope I can always look up because there are so many people that are smarter than me that are very inspiring. So it will motivate me to always pushing myself to become the more improved person and finally can give good influence to others. So I think this is a quote to live by for me, that we have to always live life to the fullest. For my opinion, it was very good to always look down because we can be grateful of our lives, but don't forget to look up also, because then you will know that you're not the best of all. So you can keep yourself from being arrogant, and you can always learn what you're lacking of, and you can always improve yourself. And living life to the fullest is actually to always learn and to always seize every moment, and to always make sure that you get the best experience that you can have. So for all people here, I hope you can always dream higher and higher and put your best efforts to achieve your dreams. So I think that's all for me. I'm sorry, this was a very informal sharing sessions, and thank you so much PLN for having me, and I'm open for any discussions.
Oke, thank you so much Mbak Nadira, very inspiring. Dan Meli, kalau kita lihat nih ya kesamaan dari semua speaker kita itu, tuh mereka tuh tahu gitu gimana how to set their goal gitu and how to do it gitu. Mereka percaya diri dan luar biasa gitu kan, sangat-sangat menginspirasi gitu. Kita sebagai wanita juga harus begitu gitu. Jangan sampai kita underestimate diri kita sendiri gitu ya.
Betul banget. Dan apa ya, nggak melihat keterbatasan sebagai perempuan. Justru itu jadi power buat kita untuk bisa mencapai goals kita. Luar biasa banget ya Mbak Nanda. Aku bahkan sampai merinding dengerin Mbak Nadira.
Aku terharu dari tadi tuh melihatnya dan merasa kayak ikut merinding juga.
Iya, benar banget. So we're going to question and answer session. Tapi tadi ada request juga supaya kalau bisa dijawab pakai Indonesia nggak apa-apa, biar semua juga bisa ikut. Kayaknya pada kepo, pengen tahu semuanya nih. Ikut terinspirasi ya Mbak Nanda ya. Kita
langsung
sudah
aja ya.
Banyak pertanyaan sebenarnya ini dari audiens. Untuk yang pertama mungkin kita bacain dulu question untuk Mbak Nadira. Jadi ada, dibacain Mbak Nanda, silakan.
Oke, ini ada pertanyaan dari Divke PLN, Mbak Mahani ya. Ini menanyakan untuk Mbak Nadira. Mbak Nadira, apa sih cita-citanya waktu kecil? Dan bagaimana cara orang tua Mbak Nadira ini untuk mengarahkan dan memotivasi sampai mencapai mimpi-mimpi satu persatu dari kecil? Gimana Mbak Nadira?
Oke, thank you Mbak Nanda. Aku jawabnya mungkin pakai bahasa Indonesia aja ya.
Boleh.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Mahani pertanyaannya. Jadi kalau cita-cita dari kecil sebenarnya kalau cita-cita waktu kecil banget jadi arsitek karena emang kebetulan ayah aku arsitek gitu. Jadi it's the only job that I know at that time. Tapi memang kalau aku sendiri seiring berjalannya waktu kayaknya aku itu selalu berganti, selalu upgraded alongside with my milestone gitu. Misalnya aku waktu SMP mimpinya masih sebatas SMA mana, terus waktu SMA mau masuk kampus mana. Waktu finally mungkin udah lebih mature, jadi mimpinya juga udah lebih terupdate, lebih tinggi lagi, dan I think it was very good sih untuk selalu nge-upgrade diri kita, termasuk mimpi-mimpi kita, karena pasti tuh capability kita juga akan selalu terupgrade juga seiring berjalannya waktu gitu. Jadi mimpi tuh nggak harus statis terus, tapi dinamis pun juga nggak apa-apa. Dan kalau cara orang tua mengarahkan aku untuk mencapai mimpi, sebenarnya mungkin kalau misalnya punya kemampuan finansial yang lebih bagus, akan lebih bagus nih misalnya untuk orang tua di sini, jadi sekalian jadi dokter juga ya, untuk lebih mengarahkan anak-anak dari awal gitu. Jadi buat anak-anak untuk bisa coba banyak hal baru, sampai mereka akhirnya bisa nemuin yang mana sih yang mereka passionate, dan yang mana sih yang mereka emang capable juga untuk lakuin. Jadi bisa di les segala macam asal nggak terlalu banyak. Cuma kalau aku itu memang kebetulan biasa aja sih dari kemampuan family juga, jadi nggak ada diarahkan seperti apa. Cuma yang selalu ditanamkan adalah kebetulan ibu aku tuh memang tiger mom banget, jadi selalu menanamkan mimpi-mimpi baru di aku, dan itu tuh kayak terasa seperti mimpi yang wild banget gitu, kayak terlalu tinggi. Tapi mamaku selalu bilang pasti bisa, dan itu biasanya karena aku orangnya visual banget, jadi biasanya ditulis di tembok tuh kayak harus apa, misalnya berapa goal, 20 goal di tahun ini, atau the next 5 years and so on. Jadi itu yang menurutku terpatrik metode itu di aku, jadinya setiap saat aku punya mimpi, aku tuh selalu kayak tulis di kertas gitu, dan selalu visualnya, jadi aku lihat tuh tiap bangun tidur ada goalnya ini gitu. Dan kalau aku pribadi sebenarnya cara aku capai mimpi, kalau mimpi itu kan distant banget gitu ya, jadi sesuatu yang sangat-sangat mungkin nggak bisa kita capai. Jadi kalau aku sendiri mimpinya di breakdown dulu tuh jadi more smaller goal. Misalnya simply pengen kuliah S2 mimpinya, terus di smaller goals-nya lagi, pengen S2 di UI atau pengen S2 di Oxford atau apapun itu yang lebih real, yang lebih bisa kita lihat. Habis itu dari goals baru di breakdown lagi jadi to-do list, sehingga kita lebih structure juga gitu. Oh berarti harus nulis esai, harus bikin TOEFL, harus segala macam. Jadi dari mimpi jadi goals, jadi to-do list. Dan itu sangat-sangat helping aku untuk bisa mencapai mimpi aku satu persatu dan tahu mistake aku di mana kalau nanti aku gagal dan mau coba lagi. Kira-kira gitu sih, Mbak Nanda.
Oke, nah itu bisa langsung kita terapin ya untuk anak-anak kita juga nantinya gitu. Jadi jangan takut untuk bermimpi gitu. Kadang galau tuh nggak apa-apa gitu. Mimpi berubah-berubah nggak apa-apa gitu Mbak Nadira ya. Yang
Betul
penting kita
banget.
bertanggung jawab. Nggak apa-apa
Tadi juga
gitu.
dikasih tips nih buat moms yang secara finansial juga mungkin bagus dan cukup ya, udah bisa ngembangin anak-anaknya dari sekarang. Anak-anaknya aktif ya Bun, kan sekarang biasanya gitu ya.
Betul.
Makasih banyak loh Mbak Nadira. Luar
Thank you,
biasa
Mbak.
inspiring banget. Kita next ada question juga nih Mbak Nanda. Untuk Mbak Mika, ada question dari Waude Fatmawati Jaruju. Questionnya ingin mau tanya dong ke Mbak Mika Tambayong, gimana sih caranya meningkatkan kepercayaan diri, sementara kita nggak punya sesuatu untuk menunjang kepercayaan itu, gitu. Dan gimana menentukan passion kita, sementara kita belum tahu apa passion yang ada dalam diri kita. Nah, nih juga tentang galau sama passion. Gimana Mbak Mika?
Mbak, mungkin aku jawab yang pertama dulu, soal confidence ya, soal kepercayaan diri. Sebenarnya, faktor internal dan eksternal sih menurut aku itu cukup berpengaruh, sama kepercayaan diri kita. Tapi kalau memang eksternal faktor tidak menunjang, harus dari diri sendiri sih mulainya. Jadi kenapa aku bilang tadi education is very important, kenapa pendidikan itu penting, baca buku itu penting, being knowledgeable itu penting, karena itu salah satu faktor yang menurutku bisa sangat boost, kepercayaan diri kita sih. Karena, kalau kita udah well equipped, kita, banyak pengetahuan, kita tuh jadi nggak kaku mau ngobrol sama orang-orang, dan menurut aku itu akan, dengan sendirinya bikin self esteem kita juga naik gitu. Jadi menurut aku itu salah satu cara sih untuk meningkatkan kepercayaan diri. Karena, basically aku juga seorang introvert, dulu awal mula, masuk ke dunia entertainment itu juga setengah mati, maksudnya, nggak pernah ada basic acting dan lain-lain, dan itu cukup challenging buat aku. Dulu aku juga nggak ada self confidence, maksudnya, beruntungnya aku punya orang tua yang sangat suportif, jadi, secara eksternal faktor aku juga sangat didukung gitu sampai sekarang. Tapi kembali lagi semuanya harus mulai dari diri sendiri sih. Kalau kita udah, punya banyak senjata istilahnya dari diri kita, kita banyak pengetahuan, kita, well educated gitu, both formally and informally ya menurutku. Itu salah satu cara yang, buat aku cukup jitu sih untuk, meningkatkan kepercayaan diri gitu. Terus, kedua soal passion, aku setuju banget sama yang tadi Mbak Nadira bilang. Menurutku passion, goal, dream itu tuh nggak harus statis gitu. Itu bisa bisa berubah-ubah, itu bisa dinamis gitu. Maksudnya kayak dulu misalkan, pengen jadi dokter, sekarang tiba-tiba berubah gitu. Karena, as we matures, setelah kita juga semakin dewasa setiap hari, menurutku juga pasti passion kita tuh berubah-berubah gitu. Cuman yang satu aku inget sih dulu, almarhum ibuku selalu ngajarin aku kayak semua orang tuh punya talenta yang sama, cuman, passion-nya di mana aja yang berbeda-beda gitu. Jadi, aku cukup beruntung punya orang tua yang dulu istilahnya kayak ceburin aku gitu, "Coba ini, coba belajar ini, coba belajar ini, kalau nggak suka ya nggak usah," gitu, "yang penting dicoba dulu," gitu. Dan menurutku itu juga salah satu cara untuk akhirnya menemukan passion kita gitu, kayak dicoba aja dulu, mungkin dicoba bisa gambar nggak, kalau ternyata nggak suka, ya ya udah mungkin dicari yang lain gitu. Jadi, I think life is all about finding yourself every single day gitu. Maksudnya even mungkin sekarang kita semua ada di sini dengan pekerjaan dan profesi kita masing-masing, setiap hari pun kita juga tetap masih belajar gitu dari sekeliling kita. Ada yang mungkin masih sekolah, ada yang mungkin masih kuliah, dan kita belajar banyak gitu tentang diri kita sendiri. Jadi menurutku passion itu nggak perlu cuma satu, passion tuh nggak perlu statis, dan seperti yang tadi aku juga bilang, everyone's timing is different gitu. Jadi kalau misalkan kita melihat ada satu orang yang kok kayaknya udah sukses banget, kok kayaknya hidupnya teratur banget gitu, udah tahu nanti mau jadi apa gitu, I don't think we should compete with that karena everyone's timing is different gitu. Jadi yang mungkin bisa kita lakukan sekarang ya menemukan passion itu. Caranya gimana? Ya mencoba banyak hal baru seperti yang tadi Mbak Danira juga bilang, go out of your comfort zone. Kalau memang nggak merasa nyaman dengan diri kita sekarang, cobalah hal-hal lain gitu. Karena kita nggak pernah tahu kalau ternyata, oh di sini kita bagusnya, oh di sini kita ternyata strength kita kuat gitu. Jadi just go out of your comfort zone, make friends, make a lot of connections, mengikuti event-event seperti ini juga salah satu cara menurutku untuk mencoba stimulasi diri kita sendiri gitu. Jadi itu sih paling dari aku.
Ya, selalu ada yang pertama ya. Yang penting kita nggak boleh takut untuk mencoba.
Ya, kalau nggak salah sekitar umur 25-an itu aku set up my first company. Now it's my 7th company. Fondasinya adalah keinginan untuk hidup yang bermanfaat sebetulnya. Berangkatnya dari situ. Bagaimana aku selalu diajarkan oleh orang tuaku pada akhirnya hidup manusia, hidup sebaik-baiknya manusia adalah manusia yang bermanfaat untuk orang lain. Nah, ketika kita bisa menebarkan manfaat sebanyak-banyaknya pada orang lain, disitulah aku bisa mengukur sebetulnya apakah yang aku jalani itu sudah sesuai on track atau belum gitu. Jadi kayak tadi aku cerita role model aku selain orang tua aku yang mereka juga memang sangat into social, into education, juga yang aku yang punya mereka membangun sekolah, membangun rumah sakit dan lain sebagainya. Nah, mereka ini yang secara tidak langsung membangun fondasi-fondasi di aku sih, dengan memberikan contoh gitu ya, bahwa semakin bermanfaat kita untuk orang lain itu akan semakin baik. Tapi tentu saja kita tidak bisa mengukur bahwa semua orang harus create impact for others gitu ya. Buat aku, selama hidup kita tidak merusak orang lain, selama hidup kita bisa bermanfaat untuk lingkungan terkecil aja, untuk lingkungan paling sempit aja, keluarga, itu udah bagus banget gitu. Jadi ketika kita bisa menjalani every single day dengan menjadi manusia yang bermanfaat, nggak jadi manusia yang ngerusak sana, ngerusak sini, komen sana, komen sini di sosial media nggak ada manfaatnya. Aku pikir itu kita sudah memulai sesuatu gitu. Karena buat aku perjuangan terberat adalah perjuangan menaklukkan diri sendiri gitu. Kita nggak bisa ngomongin, kita bisa bikin A, bikin B, bikin C tanpa kita menaklukkan diri kita sendiri. Dan itu yang aku sadari banget. Pada akhirnya kita bisa menemukan tujuan kita ketika kita memahami diri kita seperti apa gitu. What's your, apa sih purpose kamu dalam hidup itu apa? Kemudian keunggulan kamu itu apa? Kekurangan kamu apa? Bagaimana kamu bisa sambal kekurangan yang kamu miliki sehingga kamu bisa memaksimalkan apa yang kamu punya. Dan buat aku untuk bisa memahami itu butuh proses yang sangat panjang gitu. Makanya kan suka ada istilah tiba-tiba manusia berubah di usia 25 gitu. Ada beberapa fase dalam kehidupan yang orang suka gegar ya dibilangnya. Satu fase remaja ya, fase pertama itu kan usia belasan. Kemudian fase kedua itu fase umur 25 gitu kan. Yang ketiga adalah fase 40 tahun ke atas. Nah, kalau udah usia 40 tahun ke atas masih belum menemukan goals, ini yang harus dicari tahu betul sebetulnya arah hidupnya mau kemana. Jadi kalau kita masih umur 25, masih nyari-nyari, buat aku itu masih sesuatu yang wajar. Dan journey-nya akan panjang. Karena at the end, kita bisa bermanfaat untuk orang lain ketika kita sendiri juga paham bagaimana kita bermanfaat untuk diri sendiri gitu. Itu yang fondasi yang aku pikir punya banyak pengaruh dalam aku menjalankan banyak hal ini. Dan yang sekarang aku pegang banget sih sebetulnya di luar urusan bagaimana create impact to millions of people di Indonesia, sebetulnya PR besarku sekarang karena aku punya anak 2 ya. PR besarku adalah bagaimana menjadi orang tua yang benar untuk anak-anak, dan ternyata itu jauh lebih berat dibandingin membangun beragam startup gitu, karena untuk bisa menjadi orang tua yang benar ternyata kita harus mulai dengan menjadi diri kita sendiri yang benar gitu. Jadi ya benerin diri kita sendiri dulu lah, fokuslah pada diri sendiri, nanti later on kita akan pelan-pelan pasti insya Allah akan jalan kok sampai ke titik yang kamu mau. Gitu.
Iya, luar biasa. Makasih banget Mbak Iim. Tapi memang ya, maksudnya sebaik-baiknya manusia itu yang harus bermanfaat untuk orang lain. Dan itu udah Mbak Iim lakukan, itu sangat menginspirasi banget. Luar biasa.
Ya,
Iya, Mbak Nanda ya.
betul sekali Meli, dan sayang sekali nggak terasa nih ya waktunya sudah habis untuk eksternal speaker kita. Kita mengucapkan terima kasih banyak sudah menginspirasi kita di siang sampai sore hari ini. Good luck semua untuk segala apapun yang sedang diupayakan saat ini. Semoga berhasil dan terima kasih sekali lagi sudah menginspirasi kita.
Iya, sukses Mbak Mika, Mbak Nadira, dan Mbak Iim. Semoga di lain kesempatan bisa sharing lagi sama teman-teman PLN juga ya.
Terima kasih.
Iya, mungkin kami
Thank you semuanya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sampai ketemu lagi.
Iya, selamat bergabung juga kami sampaikan kepada Ibu Shofi selaku Director of Human Capital and Management. Selamat sore Ibu Shofi. Iya.
Iya, sedang
masih sibuk, baik.
Oke,
Bisa
baiklah.
kita lanjutkan ke agenda selanjutnya, Mbak Nanda?
Baik, selanjutnya adalah ini adalah sesi untuk panelis di mana mereka akan menanyakan kepada internal speaker kita ya. Untuk itu kami persilahkan untuk bisa membawakan acara kepada Mbak Desti Alkano dari Ekadin dan juga kepada Mbak Diah Karima selaku Manager of Expert Development dan juga founder H2C PLN Persero. Silakan.
Okay, thank you Nanda and Alia. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for all speakers from internal and also from external. I think all speakers have a great insight for all of us. And now, because we have a role as a panelist, ya Desti ya. So we would like to ask to our internal speaker, and I'd like to ask to Talenta because I'm her ex headmaster ya in Pegawai Tugas Belajar PLN. Okay, Talenta, your story is very interesting. I have learned many things from you. There are two questions for you, Talenta. The first one is how do you balance your life between career and also family? Because as you said, you have 4 beautiful daughters and all of them are in Makassar. Well, currently you are on duty at PLN headquarters in Jakarta right now. So how you can balance your life between career and family? And the second one, I'd like to ask you about, as we know, Indonesia's Energy Transition Index, or ET, in 2020 has dropped to rank 70. The previous year ranked 63, and in 2018 ranked at 53. So what do you think about our role in PLN to develop strategic plans and actions to improve Energy Transition Index in Indonesia? Okay, thank you, and I deliver to you, Talenta. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Diah Karima. I think it is interesting questions. How to balance working and being a mom? I think it is a challenge that from time to time I always learn to be better. So if people say that I'm tough or successful, I think I still far from that definition, because I myself continuously every day try to improve myself, both in my 2 roles, whether it is as a mother and as a working mom. Balance is something that need to be from our own commitment, because I think human being, when they focus on something, they tend to keep doing it instead of changing directions to another thing. So we really need to program ourselves how to balance it, such as like in daily planning, we make a plan not only for the to-do list job for the work at the office, but also we have a list what need to be done in terms of family activity. So we make sure after the office hour end, and then we have to jump our mind to our family. And being far away from family, also it is a challenge too. When I study abroad, I also in the has a long distance connection with my family because my children didn't follow me. I think technology, quite helps how to make us connected each other even in the faraway conditions. But yeah, I also found difficulties or the hard thing. It is different when we attach closely, directly with our children and far away. I mean, there is such emotional bound that different. Being able to be with our children, it's I think more preferred, because the connection, the bonding, the coaching for our children is going to be more optimum rather than in long distance. So I manage with the situations, and hopefully someday I might be able to unite again with them. Your second question about how Indonesia could increase its energy transition index because it's ranked currently around 70. I think I learned some indicators. I read some indicators of energy transition index. One thing is about carbon emission or renewable energy investment. So how PLN or Indonesia can increase their energy, Indonesia can increase energy transition index is by deploying renewable energy as big as possible. As we know that our energy mix currently in renewable energy still around 13%. So we need to achieve the goal that I think also has been set by the government to achieve 23% of energy mix of renewable energy by 2025. So the massive and also supported by the capital or investment is significantly needed for upgrading the energy transition index of Indonesia. I think that's my answer, Ms. Dia.
Thank you. I think it's clear enough, Miss Tarita. Thank you. And for the next one, maybe my partner, Desti. Go ahead, Desti.
Yeah, thanks. Many thanks for PLN groups, particularly to Human Capital and Management Directorate, Ibu Sofi Rukman, Bapak Daru Tri Cahyono, Bapak Agung Siswanto, Ibu Diah Karima, and our family Ignition team. It's really our pleasure, Academy's pleasure, to be part of this spectacular Ignition programs, we should say. We see quite big improvements in every single program we initiate, we organize. Still rooms to improve, but we do love to learn some lessons from them, right? And today we hear a lot about inspiring experiences from high achieving women, particularly in utility industries. I bet some stories wouldn't be possible for me, like what Ibu Tarita had in the past, being separated from her 4 children for quite some times, so hard to imagine for me. And while I prefer to be always as much as possible next to my children, raising them even without my husband next to me every day. That's really what happened to me once I pursued my PhD degree in smart grid system in Groningen University in the Netherlands about 5 years ago. So 2 times or more for high achieving women raising children in a distance. And maybe for Mbak Karina, today Mbak Tari, Mbak Karina, who's Mbak Karina? Mbak Tari.
I think maybe you miss me. Okay, Desti.
Yeah, and today I bet high achieving mothers who have been able to stay in their careers tends to work for companies that allow them access generous benefits such as flexible time, telecommuting, paid parental leave, and compressed work weeks. And Corona, this pandemic, I believe pushed some or well a lot of companies to provide such a normal benefits. We should say it's normal benefits. But Mbak Tari, if it's not the case for you or for some majority of the women, what do you think will be some ways for women to create the possibility of having the true work balance in their daily life? That's more or less the same questions as what Mbak Karima mentioned before. And second question, but then small one. As you know, with the global demand for energy increases and the push for cleaner energy and new technology expands, do you see some points why the energy industries need more females these days? So yeah, that's all for me. 2 questions for Mbak Tari. Thanks in advance.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Mbak Desti Alcano, for the question. It's about the flexibility. Like, as we know, currently we are on the pandemic situation. It's like a blessing in disguise. We can flexibly work with the working hour. Sometimes we do the Zoom parallelly, do double Zoom, like more than one meeting in one time. So sometimes we need to do that parallel the meeting, and how to manage to have a work-life balance. I think that's the key is energy management, not only time management, but I think we should know we have the limited energy in a day, so we should prioritize our activity. Like, we should prioritize first, we should have enough sleep and make sure the nutrition from our food, and after that, when we want to do the work, make sure that we have a positive environment and the supporting system from the family and the teamwork. I think in PLN, I really blessed. I always have a great teamwork. I always have a supportive manager. That's a great working in PLN. They allow us to learn something new. We always learn something new. There's always something new of business model in my division, for example. So it always surprised me. As long as we're curious for the information, so we can observe a lot of knowledge and insight from PLN. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, for the next session, go ahead, the host, or maybe Desti, do you have anything else?
No, that's enough for now.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, please Nanda and Melly to continue.
Oke, thank you so much Mbak Rima, thank you so much Mbak Desti. Tapi memang ya kalau ngomongin perempuan tuh, sesibuk apapun kita, you will find a way. Kita terbiasa untuk mengerjakan banyak hal dalam satu waktu sekaligus ya. Kita pasti bisa karena kita perempuan. Setuju kan semuanya?
Setuju banget, memang superwoman. Ini tapi ada satu lagi pertanyaan untuk Mbak Penny nih Mbak Nanda.
Oke.
Jadi ada pertanyaan dari Wilson Marbun untuk Mbak Penny. As a woman, how do you get rid of people's doubts about women's ability to lead a company or a group? Boleh dijawab Mbak Penny?
Okay, yeah. So as a woman, like I said before, there's so many doubts that we don't have a capability as the same that men's. But my strategy to get rid of it is not to get rid, but we need to use it as a challenge. You know, we need credit in our lives. So change the perceptions. Like critic is a blessing because by using the critics, we know that how to improve ourselves. It's like a fuel to your fire to boost yourself to be a better person in the future. So start from now. I want everyone to take that critic is not something negative, but critic is something like you call it blessing because without critic, you won't be any better. So that's my answer.
Oke, thank you Mbak Penny. Luar biasa banget ya gimana cara kita nge-switch energi negatif jadi positif gitu. Yang harusnya ragu, tapi kita harus buktiin sebagai perempuan kalau kita tuh bisa gitu ya Mbak Penny ya.
Iya benar.
Oke, Mbak Nanda kita lanjut ke agenda selanjutnya.
Ini ada satu pertanyaan lagi nih.
Oh, masih ada?
Yang dari YouTube.
Oke.
Ini ada pertanyaan. Oke. Ingin bertanya dari Yosep Krisnadi, ini terkait bauran energi EBT. Apakah akan ditingkatkan menjadi lebih tinggi sesuai dengan RUEN? Dan mengapa PLN tidak langsung membuat program konversi PLTD ke EBT? Tetapi justru malah program gasifikasi ya. Itu pertanyaannya. Mungkin bisa dijawab ke Mbak Talenta mungkin ya?
Oh ya, Mbak
Wakilin
Nanda.
untuk menjawab.
PLN berkomitmen terhadap PBT, betul. Kebetulan saya di divisi perencanaan korporat sehingga sedikit ada informasi ya mengenai bahwa PLN kan sudah menetapkan program transformasi, di antara salah satunya pilarnya adalah memperbesar bauran energi terbarukan ya dengan green itu ya. Jadi tentunya kita akan mengikuti atau mendukung apa-apa yang sudah direncanakan pemerintah melalui RUN tadi ya, Rencana Umum Energi Nasional. Salah satu komitmen kita kan untuk kepada energi bersih juga ya Mbak ya, cleaner energy, karena kita punya komitmen juga dengan Paris Convention dan hal-hal yang terkait dengan energi ramah lingkungan. Jadi kenapa tidak langsung ke EBT? EBT tentu kita mendukung EBT dalam hal ini. Kenapa dipilih gasifikasi? Karena itu sebagai suatu transisi ya, transisi menuju energi yang bersih tadi, yang menuju pure EBT gitu. Kenapa dipilih gas? Karena gas itu memiliki emisi yang lebih ramah lingkungan dibandingkan dengan diesel, sehingga itu menjadi proses transisi. Dan gas ini juga kita sangat didukung ya oleh para supplier kita, dalam artian seperti Pertamina itu mendukung terhadap supply gasnya PLN juga gitu kan. Seperti kita ada program gasifikasi di 52 pembangkit tersebar, itu juga sangat didukung oleh pemerintah. Di mana harga gasnya juga untuk PLN ada ketetapannya sendiri gitu. Sehingga kenapa dipilih tadi, sekali lagi pertanyaannya adalah untuk kepada transisi ya, energy transition to renewable energy gitu. Di samping itu biasanya di PLTD yang rural area itu mereka di pembangkitnya sendiri sudah memiliki beban atau masyarakat yang harus dilayani, sehingga kontinuitas dari pembangkit itu juga harus diutamakan gitu. Dengan adanya suplai gas yang cepat itu tidak mengganggu pasokan listrik kepada masyarakat. Karena kalau EBT tentu kita harus melakukan perencanaan, melakukan identifikasi kelebihan atau keunikan dari daerah itu, kemudian memutuskan EBT apa yang cocok, kemudian investasinya dari mana, sehingga lebih long term gitu ya. Tapi kalau gas ini bisa langsung cleaner emission dan bisa disuplai dengan waktu yang tidak terlalu lama.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Talenta atas jawabannya. Dan sepertinya sebenarnya masih banyak ya pertanyaan Mel, cuman memang karena keterbatasan waktu ini tidak bisa kita sebutkan semua. Cuman ini memang luar biasa loh ya edisi
Seluruh
ini.
speakersnya
Amazing ya. Ini
Amazing,
mulai dari
sangat
ngomong tentang
inspiratif.
women empowerment sampai ngomongin EBT gitu. Kita bisa semuanya, mau apa gitu ya. Oke, langsung saja kita ke agenda selanjutnya. Meli mungkin bisa dibacakan agenda selanjutnya.
Iya, selanjutnya yaitu ada keynote speech dan juga nanti akan ada announce untuk pemenang Best Speakers dari Ignition yang pertama sampai dengan yang ke-10 ini. Langsung saja sudah hadir di tengah-tengah kita, Ibu Syofi Valianti Rukman selaku Director of Human Capital Management. Selamat sore, Ibu.
Sore, Mbak Meli.
Iya, Ibu. Baik, boleh langsung saja, Ibu. Kita sudah tidak sabar mendengarkan keynote speech dari Ibu. Untuk Ibu Syofi, kami persilakan.
Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Yang saya hormati teman-teman seluruh peserta Ignition, ya betul ya. Pada sore hari ini chapter ke-10 ya. Baik yang hadir melalui Zoom maupun yang hadir melalui channel YouTube. Nah, platform Ignition ini dibangun dan berangkat dari frekuensi energi kita yang sama, yaitu energi optimisme untuk Indonesia. Sebuah energi yang mendorong PLN untuk dapat terus memberikan layanan dengan kualitas terbaik. Mungkin slide pertama bisa masuk, sehingga sampai dengan di seluruh pelosok negeri. Jadi sangat luar biasa sekali sampai perjalanannya saat ini, Ignition mampu merealisasikan komitmen untuk terus memberikan sharing session terbaik yang mampu mengedukasi dan menginspirasi seluruh PLNers dan juga Electrizen yang selalu setia belajar di platform Ignition kita ini sampai di chapter 10 pada sore hari ini. Jadi sekali lagi sebagai closing Ignition chapter 10 ini, perkenankan saya menjelaskan sekilas gambaran mengenai PLN Women Empowerment.
Bu Dur masuk. Persiapan untuk unit 1 ya.
Nah, ini adalah sebuah gambaran mengenai bagaimana perempuan PLN berkontribusi secara nyata di lingkungan kami di PLN. Jadi kita percaya bahwa semua rekan-rekan perempuan di PLN selalu memberikan karya dan prestasi terbaiknya untuk ikut memajukan PLN dengan saling bekerja sama dan bersinergi dengan para kaum laki-laki yang ada. Jadi PLN adalah lingkungan yang sangat kondusif bagi para talent wanita untuk tumbuh dan berkembang secara equal dengan talent pria. Jadi kalau kita lihat memang kebijakan pemberdayaan perempuan ini telah di-state secara nasional baik oleh Presiden Jokowi yang merupakan satu dari 10 Head of States yang menjadi impact champion dari program He4C dan Bapak Menteri BUMN Pak Erick Thohir yang ingin mewujudkan minimal 15% keterwakilan perempuan dalam direksinya PLN. Nah, semua kebijakan nasional ini didasari oleh realisasi pembangunan berkelanjutan atau Sustainable Development Goals yang ada di Indonesia. Jadi pelaksanaan SDGs tertuang dalam Agenda 2030 pada RPJMN tahun 2015 sampai tahun 2019. Nah, kesetaraan gender ini menjadi goal kelima yang merupakan integral dari keseluruhan dimensi pembangunan inklusif dan berkelanjutan. Jadi tujuan kesetaraan gender pada SDGs ini terdiri dari penghapusan kriminalisasi terhadap perempuan, gitu ya, penghapusan kekerasan terhadap perempuan dan anak, pemenuhan hak reproduksi, penghargaan atas pekerjaan rumah tangga, partisipasi perempuan dalam politik dan pengambilan keputusan, reformasi atas hak kepemilikan tanah dan pemanfaatan teknologi bagi perempuan. Nah, kalau kita lihat mengapa kita perlu makin meningkatkan program pemberdayaan perempuan khususnya di lingkungan PLN Group ini. Ini merupakan hal yang penting saat ini karena selain arahan dari pemerintah, selain itu beberapa hasil penelitian juga menunjukkan adanya korelasi yang positif terhadap kinerja perusahaan. Contohnya hasil research dari PwC tahun 2015, di mana hasil research menunjukkan bahwa keberagaman dan inklusi memiliki dampak langsung dalam mendukung hasil bisnis utama. Nah, mereka berperan dalam menciptakan yang optimal untuk mencapai hasil bisnis yang signifikan, tumbuh secara positif. Nah, oleh karena itu sangat penting untuk memastikan keragaman dan penyertaan setiap elemen kepemimpinan, baik itu manajemen senior dan perjalanan para karyawati dan karyawannya. Kalau kita lihat di sini, saat ini adalah sebuah era baru dalam dinamika pengelolaan talent perempuan. Perlu saya sampaikan bahwa ketika sebuah organisasi ingin mengelola kesenjangan kepemimpinan gender tadi, harus mendorong upaya paralel untuk menangani kepemimpinan yang di tingkat keragaman dalam hubungan dengan sistemik dalam mengubah upaya dengan cara melakukan target engagement dan empowering untuk para talent-talent perempuannya mulai dari saat bekerja pertama kali. Untuk itu, untuk mendapatkan hak ini, pertama, organisasi harus lebih memahami bagaimana cara menarik, mengembangkan, melibatkan, dan mempertahankan bakat milenial perempuan. Dalam perjalanannya telah terjadi pergeseran pasang surut yang nyata di perjalanan organisasi dalam memandang keragaman dan inklusi. Hal tersebut jauh lebih tinggi dari CEO Global Agenda. Tetapi yang perlu kita sadari bahwa organisasi perlu bergerak jauh dari sekedar memiliki beragam tenaga kerja. Saat bisnis ingin diuntungkan secara eksponensial, maka hal itu dapat dimungkinkan terdapat inklusif atau kebersetaraan seluruh tenaga kerja, baik itu laki-laki maupun perempuan, dan seluruh tenaga kerja apapun itu gendernya. Keseluruhannya merasa dihargai untuk siapa mereka dengan perbedaan yang dibawa masing-masing. Nah, saat ini memang PLN berusaha untuk meningkatkan kualitas realisasi dari program pemberdayaan perempuan, di mana PLN menggunakan platform HEART, yaitu H pertama adalah P4C program. Jadi program ini merupakan program yang menunjukkan sinergi dan kolaborasi para pegawai laki-laki untuk ikut mendukung dan tutur kontribusi aktif di program pemberdayaan perempuan di lingkungan daripada PLN Group. Kemudian E atau I, Empowering Program, di mana ini merupakan program pemberdayaan untuk meningkatkan kapabilitas pegawai perempuan secara keseluruhan, baik secara mental atau psikologis untuk membangun karakter yang tangguh dan meningkatkan pengetahuan, wawasannya, skillnya, yang nantinya pegawai perempuan ini dapat meningkatkan daya saing dan kualitas unggulnya untuk turut berkontribusi secara nyata di program transformasi PLN. Kemudian Advanced Community for Women. Ya, ini adalah program untuk meningkatkan pemberdayaan, maka diperlukan adalah sebuah komunitas perempuan yang engage dan saling mendukung untuk makin meningkatkan diversity dan inclusion di lingkungan kerja di PLN Group ini. Karena perempuan sukses akan menginspirasi perempuan-perempuan lainnya untuk ikut sukses dan terus berusaha tangguh dalam menghadapi tantangan ke depan, baik tantangan di tempat kerja dan tantangan kita di rumah. Responsibility itu adalah program pemberdayaan perempuan yang akan sukses dan sustain dengan adanya komitmen dan aksi nyata dari para pemimpin di lingkungan PLN Group ini. Kemudian trustworthy, jadi program pemberdayaan perempuan akan mampu engage bila mendapat kepercayaan dari seluruh kalangan. Di mana dalam hal ini kepercayaan dapat dibangun dengan membangun kredibilitas para talent perempuan yang ada. Dan dapat juga dicerminkan dari kapabilitas dan karakternya di keseharian, baik aktivitas sebagai wanita karir dan juga yang pastinya sebagai ibu rumah tangga. Oleh karena itu tadi dari paparan Hearts di atas perlu kita pahami bersama bahwa sejatinya program pemberdayaan perempuan adalah mengenai bagaimana perusahaan ini berkomitmen untuk merealisasikan segala bentuk upaya untuk turut mendukung para talent perempuan agar bisa terus berkarya dan makin berprestasi dengan apapun tantangan ke depan, baik di tempat kerja, di rumah, baik menjalankan perannya sebagai wanita karir dan juga sebagai ibu rumah tangga. Kemudian perubahan apa yang harus kita lakukan sebagai perempuan di tempat kerja sebenarnya? Dari research PwC juga mengidentifikasikan ekosistem di tempat kerja, maka ada 3 elemen yang harus menjadi bagian penting dari pemberi kerja untuk mempercepat perubahan tersebut. Pertama adalah transparansi dan kepercayaan. Jadi perempuan juga perlu tahu di mana mereka berdiri sehingga mereka bisa membuat portofolio karir mereka sendiri yang sukses dan memiliki nilai tambah, serta mempercayai akan seluruh umpan balik yang mereka dapatkan untuk peningkatan kualitas sebagai talent perempuan yang mempunyai potensi dan unggul. Jadi transparansi yang lebih besar tidak akan menguntungkan perempuan itu, akan membina lingkungan yang lebih inklusif dan memberikan wanita dan laki-laki lebih besar peluangnya untuk memenuhi potensinya mereka. Kemudian kita lihat strategic support gitu ya, dukungan strategis di mana perempuan tidak akan berhasil tanpa adanya dukungan strategis dari level atas sebagai support system dan sekaligus sponsor dalam perjalanan karirnya di tempat kerja. Kemudian kita juga harus menyeimbangkan yang pastinya keluarga dan karir. Tadi teman-teman sudah share experience-nya gitu, bagaimana menyeimbangkan antara keluarga dan karir ini. Kemudian elemen sederhana dan terpenting dalam peningkatan kualitas pemberdayaan perempuan adalah mengedukasi dan selalu mensupport talent perempuan untuk bisa berusaha menyeimbangkan antara kehidupan keluarga dan karir. Perempuan adalah makhluk multitasking, sehingga kita percaya bahwa dengan segala dinamika dan tantangan yang ada, dengan saling support, maka perempuan akan mampu tangguh dan melakukan work-life balance yang sangat dinamis. Nah, untuk itu pada chapter Ignition ke-10 ini merupakan awal yang baik untuk kita makin mensukseskan program PLN Women Empowerment di lingkungan PLN Group. Dan saya sangat bangga hati bahwa saat ini rekan-rekan milenial yang ada di PLN Group telah memasukkan tema pemberdayaan perempuan di platform Ignition dengan melaunching Women Series yang nanti akan dilaksanakan Women Series dalam 3 kali dalam 1 tahun. Semoga Ignition akan terus konsisten dalam memberikan sharing session terbaik dan bermanfaat untuk para Igniters, yaitu PLN Group, PLNers Group, dan Electrizen di seluruh Indonesia dan mancanegara. Terima kasih, salam sukses untuk kita semua. Terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Sofi atas pemaparannya. Selanjutnya kami persilakan juga kepada Ibu Sofi untuk dapat memberikan atau mengumumkan reward kepada 3 talenta terbaik di PLN yang menjadi top 3 Ignition Best Speaker. Silakan Bu.
Ini sudah ditunggu-tunggu nih ya, kelihatannya ya. Nah, sudah ada fotonya. Jadi kami sebagai manajemen mengucapkan selamat kepada 3 talenta terbaik PLN yang menjadi top 3 Ignition Best Speaker, yaitu, tapi nggak ada wanitanya ini kelihatannya ya. Pertama, Mas Jati Parmadita. Apa kabar Jati? Sehat-sehat? dari
Bu, terima kasih.
UPT Pulau Gadung. Oh, kamu udah di Pulau Gadung ya sekarang.
Iya, Bu.
Sehat-sehat ya. Jadi judulnya apa? Design of High Voltage Cable with Corrugated Aluminum Sheet. Oke.
Ya, Bu.
Terus berkarya ya, Jad.
Baik, Bu, terima kasih.
Kemudian yang kedua dari ULP Dova, Mas Hendro Eko Prabowo. Ada Mas Ekonya atau Mas Hendronya? Judulnya adalah Electricity and Local Wisdom in Mongoli Island. Titip salam untuk teman-teman di Dova, Mas Hendro. Kemudian yang terakhir adalah Mas Afrizal Saputra dari UP3BS UPT Banda Aceh dengan judul PDKB Indeli. Alhamdulillah, semoga prestasi teman-teman dapat memacu kita semua dan juga teman-teman sekalian menjadi talent yang unggul dan terbaik, serta mampu menginspirasi teman-teman yang lainnya untuk terus mau belajar dan berusaha dalam memberikan karya prestasi terbaik untuk PLN demi mencapai visi PLN sebagai perusahaan ketenaga listrikan nomor 1 di Asia Tenggara dan pilihan utama para pelanggan di solusi energinya. Sekali lagi, congrats untuk teman-teman semua, tetap berkarya yang belum berhasil di sore hari ini. Saya rasa kesempatan-kesempatan yang lainnya juga sangat terbuka lebar. Terima kasih, selamat sekali lagi. Semoga inovasi-inovasi dan sharing-sharing seperti ini menjadi bagian daripada culture-nya PLNers seluruhnya, baik itu di PLN dan PLN Group. Terima kasih, saya kembalikan ke Mbak Meli. Silakan.
Iya, baik. Terima kasih Ibu Shofi atas keynote speech-nya yang luar biasa. Juga selamat kepada seluruh best speakers yang tadi sudah diumumkan. Mungkin untuk kesempatan saat ini boleh minta sedikit testimoni dari best speaker-nya untuk Mas Jati terlebih dahulu di kesempatan pertama. Boleh dong di-share sih setelah bisa jadi speakers di Ignition dan juga sekarang terpilih sebagai best speakers.
Terima kasih Mbak Melani. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya sangat bangga ya dan bahagia, dan awalnya sih terkejut karena nggak tahu kalau akan ada award seperti ini. Ya terima kasih sekali lagi kepada tim panitia Ignition setelah mengundang dan memberikan kesempatan. Semoga kedepannya tetap dilanjutkan acara seperti ini sehingga teman-teman yang lain bisa mendapatkan kesempatan, karena masih banyak knowledge dan ide-ide yang bisa di-share di sini. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Mas Jati. Selanjutnya kita menuju ke Mas Hendro Eko Prabowo. Oke, sepertinya bisa bergabung. Langsung saja ke Mas.
Sebentar. Karena Mas Hendro di Pulau Dova dan mohon izin menyampaikan karena di Pulau Dova ini termasuk area 3T, jadi sangat sulit sekali jaringan dan sinyal komunikasi. Jadi ini ada video ya, Mas Helmi ya, dari Mas Dova, dari Mas Hendro dari Dova.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih atas penghargaan yang diberikan kepada kami. Semoga penghargaan ini bisa menjadi pemicu semangat kami untuk terus menerangi Indonesia. Penghargaan ini juga kami sebarkan untuk UIWNNU dan UP3 Ternate. Semoga bisa menjadi unit terbaik di Indonesia Timur. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. ULP Dova pasti bisa.
Luar biasa. Dan waktu itu izin menyampaikan juga Mas Hendro ini sampai ketika kala itu menjadi speaker di Ignition, itu sampai harus naik perahu dulu ke pulau seberang agar ketika nanti sharing itu mendapatkan jaringan yang nggak putus-putus. Jadi sampai berusaha nyebrang ke pulau sebelah untuk mendapatkan sinyal komunikasi seperti itu. Dan dia juga salah satu dari
FLD.
Talenta dari Future Leader Program, ya FLD.
Ya, luar biasa ya Mas Hendro ini perjuangannya ya. Oke, selanjutnya kita akan menuju ke Mas Afrizal Saputra. Halo, Mas Afrizal.
Halo Kak, Assalamualaikum
Ya,
wabarakatuh. Ya,
Ini di mana nih, Zal?
udah Kak.
Lagi di mana, Zal?
Lagi di lapangan Kak.
Oh.
Sorry, pakaiannya agak berantakan. Yang pertama-tama Ijal mau ucapkan terima kasih banyak. Pertama buat Kakak Rima selaku coach dan semua tim dari UPT Banda Aceh yang udah mau mendukung, menyupport sehingga berhasilnya acara Ignition yang kemarin. Award ini Ijal persembahkan untuk kawan-kawan semua dan nggak lupa untuk kawan-kawan semua Ijal mewakili HCMS. Terima kasih banyak udah mau mendengarkan atau mengikuti acara maju terus sukses dan semakin jaya. Itu aja Kak dari Ijal.
Oke. Sukses ya Zal. Ini Izal ini luar biasa, ini termasuk Ignition 2 waktu itu ngehit sampai 10.000 lebih. Jadi karena ini ya, waktu Ignition 2 itu sosok-sosok yang ditampilkan oleh Ignition sangat luar biasa, salah satunya oleh Mas Afrizal Saputra ini. Oke, thank you.
Baik, terima kasih kepada semua yang sudah menerima reward di Ignition kali ini. Selanjutnya kita juga akan menuju ke acara yang pastinya sudah ditunggu-tunggu dari awal.
Betul
nih ya.
banget.
Apalagi kalau bukan pembagian door prize. Nah, ini ada
6 buah door prize ya Mbak Nanda.
Ada 6 mini gold. Kalau cewek denger gold tuh langsung cering-cering gitu loh. Oke, langsung aja. Panitia dibantu dong untuk pengacakan door prize-nya. Silakan.
Iya, siapa ini kira-kira yang beruntung ya dari sekian banyak yang tadi udah ngisi form? Dari sekarang udah mulai berdoa nih kayaknya nih Mbak Nanda nih.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oke.
Iya, ini untuk yang pertama siapa dia? Hafiza Iza
Khairusi. Selamat.
Next. Kita acak lagi pemenang selanjutnya. Muhammad Yuda.
Iya, selamat.
Oh,
Habibullah, ya selamat. Mel, kira-kira kita bisa dapat nggak Mel? Kamu ngisi nggak tadi Mel?
Aku tadi nggak ngisi Mbak Nanda. Boleh lah nanti ke Mbak Rima.
Kita langsung aja ya nanti ke Mbak Rima gitu ya. Oke, lanjut. Sekarang siapa lagi yang akan dapatkan mini gold? Silakan Mas Helmi.
Jangan-jangan abis ini Mas Helmi nih.
Riza Zahra Fadila, selamat.
Selamat. Oke, next Mas Helmi. Ini Mbak Desti udah senyum-senyum nih dia, nunggu juga.
Trinovianti Arif, selamat. Masih ada 2 lagi bener ya? Tadi udah 4 kan? Oke.
Ini yang muter kayaknya seneng banget ya.
Yensi Nina Anggraini.
Dan terakhir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Syarif Muhammad Nur. Oke, selamat kepada seluruh yang beruntung hari ini mendapatkan emas ya. mini goal. Tapi buat yang belum beruntung gak usah sedih, karena hari ini kita dapat banyak banget insight yang sangat inspiring. Itu udah lebih-lebih dari mini goal, ya nggak Mbak Nanda?
Betul banget, betul banget. Tadi udah jelaskan juga secara rinci kan tahapan-tahapan untuk menjadi orang yang sukses itu gimana gitu. Oke, sepertinya seluruh rangkaian acara sudah berakhir atau sudah selesai ya kita selesaikan di sore hari ini. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih yang banyak kepada seluruh speakers dan juga panelis yang hadir pada sore hari ini.
Iya, luar biasa sekali. Dan kalau tadi saya highlight, ternyata being a woman, being a mom can stop you to learning something new or achieving your life goals. Jadi kita perempuan ini pasti bisa, jangan mau kalah, pasti kita semuanya bisa ya. Tadi multitasking bisa nih, kayak Ibu Diah, Mbak Nanda juga, tadi juga Mbak Tarita, luar biasa.
Betul sekali ya, don't limit yourself pokoknya ya,
Betul
selalu
banget.
coba hal yang baru. Oke, baik. Untuk itu akhir kata kami ucapkan mohon maaf jika selama berlangsungnya acara ada kesalahan. Terima kasih sekali lagi sudah bergabung bersama kami dari siang juga hingga sore hari ini. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa di Ignition selanjutnya di tahun depan ya. Saya Nanda Pitasari.
Dan saya Meliani Rosalina, pamit undur diri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, 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 Om. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Desti, sudah ditutup?